Shield, 800-785-9132.
Is it time for you to get new windows, doors, or siding? Then I have two pieces of advice for you. Call Tommy's Windows and get multiple quotes. Then you can compare our costs, products, and references. Go to GoTommys.com to give us a chance. We're Tommy's Windows.
Go Tommy's!
Stabs Prime Steak and Seafood? Stabs Prime Steak and Seafood. Well, I guess along with those sizzling steaks, we do have wood-fired oysters and scallops, beautiful sea bass, fresh Gulf fish and shrimp, and rich Ora King salmon. So yeah, Stabs Prime Steak and Seafood. Jefferson Highway across from Palermo Ristorante. Tell Leo that Kevin sent you. And don't forget, there ain't no cake in that crab cake. Come and see us.
Why do billion-dollar insurance companies regularly delay and deny valid claims? Because that's how they got to be billion-dollar insurance companies. If you've been injured, I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7969.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning. It's 7 a.m. here on Wednesday, November 6th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 85. In hour one of today's show, we'll react to the news of Saints cornerback Marshon Lattimore being traded, and we'll look at the matchups to watch in the LSU versus Alabama game. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN, and watch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel. Hour number one of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, starts now.
Let's go, baby, let's go!
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah, they said I gotta come off the bench.
Now, here's Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome in to a brand new edition of OTB. It is Wednesday, November 6, 2024. And, well, it's a big news day. It is a massive news day. In fact, last night, we learned something that I would argue is probably one of the most important pieces of information that we could have learned in these times. And that is the first college football playoff ranking committees for 2024. That's right, the Oregon Ducks coming out number one in the single most important event that happened last night from 7 to 8 p.m. as Herbie and the boys from ESPN got together and laid out exactly who is ranked where in this first edition of the college football playoff polls in 2024. No, we had a presidential election last night, and it's over, and here's to hoping everybody, we can have a peaceful transition of power, everybody can move on, and here's to hoping that things will get better. Who knows? It is very funny, though, seeing all these pundits act shocked, like, I guess people are unhappy with their money. Like, duh. That's basically what we've been saying forever. Anyway, I want to talk about a few things today. I don't know what the hell's going on with the Pelicans. Tay mentioned, we're not even 10 games in and everybody's hurt.
Yeah.
Literally everybody's hurt.
I know.
It's actually insane. Zion Williamson continues to miss games out of nowhere for questionable reasons. Whatever. We'll get into all that. I want to talk about the first Roman triumvirate and how it relates to Mickey Loomis. I want to talk about I do want to talk about the college football playoff. I want to continue to break down LSU Alabama and this game that I continue to have my thoughts kind of bounce around and waffle back and forth, and there's elements that I like, there's elements that I don't, so we'll continue to break it all down. But first, look, let's have some fun over the next 3 hours. Turn your brain off and just think about some sports before you go back to stressing about whether or not you scarred your 6-year-old daughter by letting her ride the Haunted Mansion, and now she's accused you of purposely poisoning her brain, and like she can't recover from it. Like, my God, dude, it's just a ride, you know? But I remember being that age, and I was super freaked out by the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, I was more freaked out if I couldn't ride the ride, though. You know, like if my older brother was tall enough and I
agree,
wasn't.
and she's a badass. Like I said, she took down Velocicoaster. She wanted to do it so desperately badly. And she was waffling after he got into the stretching room, and I was like, no, you got this. And I kind of pushed her to go. You know, I don't know. Did I ruin my daughter's life? Who knows? That's what I'm thinking about this morning. Yeah, maybe so. What's up, though, Jake? How we doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing good. You know, I'm old, so I try to stay up watching some of the election stuff, and, you know, just I can't do it anymore. You know, can't do it. But you know what? We're here.
Hell yeah.
I do like the fact, and I know I'm in the minority, but I do like the fact that when I get here, it is sunny now. Like there's something that puts a little pep in my step now that daylight savings, and there's actually, you know, there's sun when I get here, and it's not dark when we come into work. So I appreciate that.
I still don't see the sun as much, but I actually. And again, I don't know if, maybe this is minority. I actually do like when it gets dark a little bit earlier.
Oh, I do too.
It just feels like fall and winter to me, and it feels a little holiday-y, and it kind of puts me in a good mood. It gives the Christmas lights a little more time to shine, which shout out got lit when I was at Disney. They put up my lights. So it's awesome, dude. Like, I'm already done. My kids freaking love it. Like, every day they're so excited to see it.
All right. Got lit. Y'all did mine last year. Hook your boy up. I mean, I know y'all do whiskey and wine, and I'm not a part of that program, but, you know, I'm, you know, adjacent.
Yeah.
I'm hitting T-Bob every day, so, you know.
He's adjacent.
Yeah, exactly. I want to get lit.
Alondra, how you feeling? Feeling pretty lit?
I feel lit. I did a power hour at the block this morning, so my
nice. Let's go.
Legs, or not my legs. Legs were yesterday. My arms are a little wobbly, but I feel great.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm hype.
What about you, Tay?
Yeah, I worked out this morning.
You.
Oh,
were you the only one in there?
I actually was. I was gonna say it's usually me and this guy Damon, but Damon wasn't there this morning.
Oh,
and I was
he
like,
stayed up too late
bro.
too.
Yeah, he probably did.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, they have like that body scan thing, you know, where like they do a body scan on you.
Yeah.
And I'd never done one of those before, but I always wanted to.
Yeah.
And so now, like, we do them weekly, and I'm like, dang, even from like week to week, you can see
that's one of the things I loved about
getting snatched for the SEMAs, continuing right along.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
like
working
when you're in the
out
NFL though, like, you know, somebody's built like me, you're like, do I want to get on there after Quentin Jammer?
Right.
And Sean
Yeah,
Bateman? Do I want to get on that? Okay.
The working out at 5 a.m. thing is so hard to force yourself to do it and to start. But my God, once you do, it sets you up for an incredible day.
Well, I've been going at 4:30.
Yeah.
And I used
That's
to
even
go,
harder. That's crazy.
I used to go at 5, but then I started doing this and I couldn't anymore. So I'm glad I can get back into it.
If I worked out that early, because I agree, shout out to y'all. If I worked out that early, I don't know that I can make it to off campus.
The thing is, I find that you get more energy.
I have a boost of
from
energy
it
right
in
now.
the end.
Yeah. I don't even have
and it doesn't like tail the end of the day.
I don't have caffeine.
And then I feel like if you don't, like whenever I don't work out, then the whole day I'm thinking like, I still got to get that workout in. Like at some point, or I'm going to be miserable. I'm going to be like snappy and irritable. But yeah.
You definitely weren't the afternoon 110 group like me and Flynn.
No. Moffitt used to hate y'all for that.
Oh, I hated us.
But okay, let's okay, where do we want to start? Do we want to start Lattimore or do we want to start LSU? Because I really want to talk about Loomis.
All right, you know what? Let's get this thing started talking about Mickey Loomis.
There we go.
It's time to get to work, courtesy of Tiger Labor and Staffing, where they can help take care of screening, training, payroll, and more. Now, for starters.
Tiger Labor and Staffing has the shortest waiting period in the industry. Tiger Labor makes it easy to transfer top talent onto your payroll quickly, as Tiger Labor personally vets your workforce of all your staffing needs, whether those are short-term needs or long-term needs. Look, they're not just forwarding resumes to you. They interview and dispatch in person every single morning at 5 a.m. So there you go. All right. So yesterday, Marshon Lattimore traded to the Washington Commanders. So it begins, right? The kind of rebuild of the New Orleans Saints. It's a good deal for the Saints. You give up Lattimore and a 5th-round pick. You get a 3rd, a 4th, and a 6th. I think, like, what did Jalen Ramsey go for? Like a 3rd back in the day, wasn't it? Or maybe what he was being bandied about. That feels like a good deal for where Lattimore's at in his career right now.
Yeah.
The question becomes, though, you're amassing draft capital. Good. We love to see that. But do you trust Mickey Loomis? Because to me, the immediate joke that my head starts to write, Jake, when I see that is good. Those are just more picks for Loomis to bundle, to trade up and draft a small school defensive end with not a lot of statistical production, but with high athletic upside.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, again, it's a joke, but, like, that is immediately where my head goes because there's a lack of trust about Mickey Loomis. And to me, as untouchable as he is playing with fire. He's in a precarious spot. Again, I mean, if you kind of want to, well, I won't even view it through that lens. He's in a precarious spot. The rage of the people is starting to coalesce on Mickey Loomis. And the problem is he continues to show no contrition. In fact, it does echo some of the political sentiment you're seeing where Mickey Loomis is kind of getting up there and saying, no, my plan was good. That was not the problem. Everything else was the problem. Bad luck was the problem, right? Like, he went on WWL with my old man yesterday and again doubled down on Dennis Allen being a really good coach. And the only reason why things didn't work out was because of injuries. And yes, injuries are a huge part of it, right? I'm not saying that. But it's exactly what we said a few weeks ago. The fear that this multitude of injuries would be used as an excuse to ignore the laundry list of other problems. Awful drafting, especially with your most important top picks. Continuing to trade up multiple times every draft and lessen your margin of error when it comes to drafting. A cap strategy that was very good and forward-thinking for a while in terms of extending a window, but extended way too long past when it should have been. A coach with a clear disconnect in the locker room. A coach who at no point in his head coaching career has ever proven to be a winner. Did y'all talk about the stat on Sunday from the Saints game? The Saints managed to lose in a way that no team has ever lost before.
Yeah, 275-0 to that point, yeah.
270. And here's another one that I found. And there's a few different ones like this, right? 425 yards of offense, gave up less than 250, didn't turn it over. Since 1950, teams were 138-0. So you were the first to lose in 74 years and 138 tries, but you still think the plan and the team you put in place works. And so how can we believe that Mickey Loomis is going to get better when you can't even admit what went wrong? Like, isn't that the key to self-improvement? Being able to look in the mirror and say, what did I do to cause us to get here? Not to point fingers, say, no, it wasn't me. It was everything else that went wrong around me. The plan was still good. And if you'll allow me some extended runway here to continue to rant, who knows their Roman history? Okay, the first Roman triumvirate, Pompey, Caesar, and Crassus.
Yeah.
Pompey, the old great general, right? A man beloved by the people, had a ton of military glory and success. Caesar, the young up-and-comer, also a man with a ton of military success. Crassus, what was his role in the triumvirate? He was the slumlord, the money man. And I said it a few years ago, and I don't know why it randomly popped into my head again this morning, but you can think about Drew Brees and Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis as the Saints triumvirate. And in this case, Payton would kind of be your Pompey, Brees would be your Caesar, and Loomis, the money man, would be your Crassus. And just like that first triumph of Rome, they combined to do some incredible things. But they're all prideful. They all laid their head down at night, and they all thought, look, I'm actually the best man. I'm the man most responsible for success. And when Brees and Payton left, we said it was Mickey Loomis's chance to prove himself, right? Yeah, these other guys were great, but maybe Loomis's deals and drafts and the shadows and cap management played a bigger role than we originally knew, right? So what happened to Crassus? Okay, I'm actually reading a great new Adrian Goldsworthy book about Rome and Persia that goes into this. in detail. But Crassus, he was a man who had all the money, but had no military glory. He was actually an old school slumlord. This is pretty fascinating, Jake. He had his own fire brigade. And so when a fire would break out in Rome, the buildings that would be in the path of the fire, he would basically bend those people over with super lowball offers and saying, look, you have to give me this building right now because it's going to burn down. You're going to get nothing, or you can take this. As soon as they took the deal, he would then create a fire break, shut it down. He would rebuild the buildings that got destroyed, and then all of a sudden, everybody's paying rent to him. He had all the money, but he had no military glory. He was not beloved by the people. And yeah, he played a big role in stopping Spartacus, but that's different than foreign glory. He wanted that foreign glory. He wanted to prove himself. So what did he do? Finally, Caesar, Pompey, whatever, guys, I'm going to go east. I'm going to prove that I'm the man. And he went and he fought the Parthians. And do you know what happened to him? His army got obliterated and his head got chopped off in the middle of the desert. And he died alone in the desert, a man who had everything because he was so prideful and so desperate for glory. Loomis is Crassus, a man who is desperate to prove he's the real key behind the Saints' success, and a man who is failing mightily. A man who is blind to all of his shortcomings because he surrounded himself with more talented people, masking his mistakes and teaching him all the wrong lessons. A man who still believes he is and was right about Dennis Allen despite an avalanche of objective evidence to the opposite. If that is not pride to a fault, I don't know what is. So I like the Marshon Lattimore trade. I have no illusions that it will be used correctly. And I don't know how long or if he can. I don't know how Mickey Loomis changes this because it's looking like it's going to be a couple of rough years. And this noise is only going to continue to get louder and louder and louder. I mean, I think you could argue there's potentially not a more important draft in the modern era of the Saints than the one coming up. They have to hit. They have to find, Jake, some beacons of hope for people to latch on to. Otherwise, this noise will continue to grow, and we will really put to the test just how untouchable Mickey Loomis really is.
Yeah, if you want to mess around and find out, you go keep Derek Carr. Don't draft a quarterback in the first round and go take, a edge rusher from Houston Christian. Like, go do that and see how that turns out for you.
Yeah.
Because you've always thought that you were the smartest guy in the room with all of your actions. And look, there's been times where you were successful. Like, I don't want to hate on the entire tenure, but over the last 5 years, right, a lot of things have come to light, and it has not been any good. And so you have a chance, and you traded an asset to get assets. Okay, you have a chance to fix some things. And you're going to be a roster that needs your rookies to hit because of your cap situation. So you're going to need to have one of those drafts where you get 3 starters from that draft, and it's going to be your opportunity, and you're going to get that opportunity. Now, other GMs, if they had the history that you had over the last 5 years, they would not get that opportunity. In fact, you probably would have left when Dennis Allen left because a lot of that was you. But we all know kind of what the hierarchy of the Saints front office looks like in ownership. So you're going to get that chance. He can't continue on if he screws this one up because you trade one of your starters, one of your star players for draft choices. You are going to be so bad that you get a top draft choice. Find the quarterback that you love. And look, I know that people are listening to Mel Kiper and others, and there's not a quarterback I love. There's going to be a quarterback. There's going to be a quarterback that I think is worth where you're going to be selecting, and you have to turn the page on what you've tried to do. The glue is not sticky anymore. The duct tape is gone, and that's what you tried to do. You have a chance, like you said, to move forward and move on and do it in a way in which you can be more competitive next year if you do it the right way.
And again, what evidence do we have to believe that the Saints will be capable of accomplishing that under Mickey Loomis? Because from where I sit, you look at the glory years, the 15 years of glory you had in the Peyton Breeze era. And even there, you see maybe Loomis a little upset. Why is it called the Peyton Breeze era? I'm the GM. I'm the guy that brought these guys in, right? But, I mean, I think we can all clearly see that first and foremost, quarterback's the most important. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, whatever, Peyton Manning. These guys were the real keys behind the respective runs that they all went on with their franchises. Now, Sean Payton, his impact is still undeniable, right? These Saints got worse without Peyton, and we'll see where his time with the Broncos goes. Their cap's bad. They're doing okay. Maybe he ends up proving to be quite good himself, but he's still not as impactful as having Drew Brees, right? Like you even saw what happened to Sean Payton teams without Drew Brees. They were still winning, but it was all much harder, and quite frankly, it exhausted him to the point where he wanted to get out and go start fresh somewhere new. You have no reason to believe that Mickey Loomis is capable of doing this again. Right now, it feels like someone who, through a series of factors such as Nick Saban not wanting Drew Brees, et cetera, through a series of factors that got lucky. And it played out very well. But can he recreate that luck? I don't know. I don't see anything on the resume that tells me that he can.
One thing, and maybe throughout today I can kind of put it together, we don't talk enough about the guys that were coming up for free agency in New Orleans, and Mickey Loomis allowed them to go elsewhere, and they became stars.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that enough. The guys that he chose to keep in New Orleans, the ones he allowed to go walk, and now those are the players that are still thriving, getting new contracts with their new teams when your guys are aging and out of the league. Like there's a handful of players, and I'll do it during the show. Maybe I can have it by the second hour here, of just guys that are thriving right now that you just kind of like, we got our 4 years out of him. He's done. We're not giving him money. Are you kidding me? We're going to give this guy money.
And they've made the wrong choice.
Almost every time.
And time again. And they've drafted poorly. And it's why you've created a roster that is so brittle. And you chose a coach that, for whatever reason, I don't know completely why, right? But the stats on Dennis Allen, remember like the Saints were the only team over the past 2 years or whatever that had a positive point differential, but still a losing record.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is. The guy just finds ways to lose. And yet you still continue to sit here and say, no, he was the right choice. So how can I expect things to get better when you can't even admit what went wrong? All right. When we get back, get to your comments in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. Also, a critical matchup for LSU coming up in this weekend's matchup. Keep it locked right here. YouTube.com/1045 ESPN.
Off the bench.
Go to All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge is your one-stop shop for anything you need when it comes to your next vehicle, man. Whether that's brand new, Toyota certified used vehicle, you want a luxury SUV like the Sequoia, maybe the minivan. The Sienna, the new Siennas are really mind-blowing, guys. Big old truck like a Tundra, Tacoma. Hell, I leased a Camry for 3 years from All-Star, and it was great. That could be you. Your answers lies there on Airline and Goodwood. So take advantage today by going to All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge, allstartoyotabatonrouge.com.
Yeah, go to that website, check out what you can buy new, check out what you can lease, and also what is available in that rental department. And the thing is, everything is available when you're buying new, leasing, and renting. Now, if you've got a trip planned, maybe it's to go watch the Tigers play their final road game, maybe it's for a quick vacation, call Miss Lisa Sessions today. Get that rental reserved. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a...
Welcome back to the 9th-ranked morning sports show in America. Off the bench.
What happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Talk a little Saints over the show. Marshon Lattimore traded, give you some cap savings, kind of start the the potential rebuild. But the big game going down this weekend in Death Valley. College Game Day. How about this? I didn't realize College Game Day hadn't been here since 19. Very interesting considering that LSU is one of the top College Game Day schools. In 2019, they actually played on Game Day 5 times.
Oh, wow.
I think twice may have been at LSU. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But, yeah, 5 times College Game Day in 2019 and nothing since. So in some ways, just getting Game Day back is a bit of a testament to where you've risen to again. The problem is it's all on the line Saturday night. As while, I may have been a bit premature in painting Ole Miss and LSU as an elimination game. You could argue that maybe it is because where it puts you margin of error and all that. But in terms of actual functional mathematical eliminations, this Saturday is absolutely a playoff Thunderdome. 2 teams with very good chances will enter. 1 team will be eliminated. 1 team will move on. It's one of the reasons Game Day is here. That's why this game matters so much. And if LSU is going to win, I don't know that there's a more important metric on the heels of last week than success on first down. This is an insane stat that I found in The Advocate, and I felt this, but I hadn't seen it written out this clearly. I believe it was Wilson Alexander, but if I'm wrong on that, either way, read your local paper. Last week against A&M, 2 weeks ago, LSU on first down, Jake, on 34 first down plays, they gained no yards or lost yardage on 20 of the 34 first downs. In the second half, they gained more than a yard on only 4 first downs. That is an awful stat. One that shows you why things went so badly, why Garrett Nussmeier felt like he had to stand on his head, as Brian Kelly said. One, I hate to say, Jake, that second half fall off a cliff correlates with the absence of Garrett Dellinger. You only ran for 1.9 yards per carry without the sack yardage. With sack yardage taken out, you average less than 2 yards a carry against A&M. Another great stat I found in The Advocate, LSU averages 6.5 yards a carry this season when it runs towards Garrett Dellinger. So now, the single biggest question LSU has to overcome against an Alabama rush defense that has been the weakness of that team, can you find rushing success without your best run blocker at the most important position running the ball, which is guard? Because, like, I can see Blake Baker putting together a plan to have success. If you take care of some of those base needs, Garrett Nussmeier will have a big game. I can see him dominating. I just don't know that any of this will be possible or work if you cannot stay on schedule and have more success on first down running the ball specifically.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, against Texas A&M, it was a thing where you just put yourself in impossible situations like you laid out. You became one-dimensional. Anytime you give a talented defense the ability to kind of take one thing out of their thought process because they know you can't do it, then you're never going to have the success that you want to. And certainly Alabama is talented. Now, they haven't played like that in the run game, but they're talented enough that if you make it a one-dimensional game, they're going to feast. And so it doesn't, like, sure, like I'd love for LSU to be able to turn around and run inside, outside zone or power or counter or stretch lead, whatever it might be, and be successful. But even if that's not successful, you still, like as a play caller, you have to come up with something that is kind of, run adjacent. Maybe it is just, hey, we're going to let, Durham go out there, we're going to throw him a swing pass, and that's going to be an extension of the run game. Like they do in the air raid very often, and LSU certainly has done as well. Like, you got to get those easy ones. You got to get those, hey, it's first down, we're going to let the running back swing out, and then we're going to hit that one. And then when we come back on the next first down, we're going to let the outside receiver run a two-step slant. He's also going to be on the same side as the guy that is flaring out. The linebacker's going to, because we've already hit it, bail out of there, go try to cover the running back, and then we're going to hit the slant right where he leaves. Like stuff like that. Like play off of it. And that's something that you have to do in this game if you can't just line up and run the football, because those are quick and easy. He gets the ball out of the quarterback's hands. It slows everybody down. And defenses kind of treat those things like the run game because it's an extension of it, so they can't play as fast to the pass.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned the play caller because I think this is such a massive moment for Joe Sloan. There's been a lot of criticism of Joe Sloan. I think, some of it warranted, some of it a bit over the top considering how good of an offense you've been statistically all year long. But what does any great coach have to do? You have to find ways to manufacture wins at areas in which you're weak, to mask your weaknesses and highlight your strengths. And look at the defense. You're going to tell me Blake Baker hasn't done that? Interior defensive line that nobody had any faith in whatsoever entering the year. A secondary that looked really weak. And yet you've gotten markedly better in both of those instances. In fact, like if you look at Ole Miss, Arkansas, and when Wigman was in the game, like you're starting to become a pretty damn good defense. Despite the fact that nobody thought you should be or would be, and despite the fact that you lost your best interior defensive lineman to start the year, you lost one of your most dynamic playmakers in Harold Perkins, and yet you've managed to overcome through scheme and technique and teaching. Joe Sloan now has to do that on the offensive side of the ball, missing his best run blocker. And Jake's exactly right. It doesn't have to be running, but you have to find out ways to create that success with matchups that you feel you have an advantage with. And I'm going to be fascinated to see how they kind of tackle that issue come Saturday night.
One of the other things, and it does feel like wasted breath. I do understand that because I said it on the broadcast all the time, and I'm to a point where I'm not even going to mention it. When you run as much, inside zone as you do, and obviously the quarterback is right there, and he looks like he has the ability to pull it on some type of read option. You go back to the Arkansas game, T, and you see the one time that Nussmeier did pull it and he ran for 5 or 6 yards. And I bring that up not because he ran for 5 yards, because I do think that is there. It was the way that he looked to the sideline and almost like in a mockingly way, like kind of cheered, like, I finally did it. And I was like, that made me believe that they're telling you, we want you to do that more. You have the ability in those plays to pull that zone read and go around the corner if you want to. Just the way he reacted to the sideline, almost like they all been waiting for it. And if you're going to do it, because when we always talk about they add an extra defender, right? That in guy on the line of scrimmage. Well, typically, like he can't shoot down there like a bat out of hell because he's, threatened by the ability of the quarterback to pull it. But LSU's only done it once. So you have to think like that guy is not blocked for a reason. And he's not respecting the quarterback to pull it at all. So he is just adding himself into the count where you don't have anybody to pick him up in the count. And so he's hitting the running back in the backfield oftentimes or at the line of scrimmage. Like if it's going to be in, that has to be something. And if you have to say, I'm going to put in a play call where within the call, I'm telling you to pull it, that could be, maybe it's twice.
Yeah.
Maybe it's twice against Alabama, and maybe of the 2 times you get a total of 14 yards. And that in a game of this magnitude with these small of margins, 14 yards could be the difference.
So that would be my main offensive kind of point of what's the word I'm looking for? That's the inflection point for the offense. Can you accomplish that? If you can, you're going to have a good day. When we get back, let's talk about what we believe could be the inflection point for the LSU defense. Keep it locked here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
Go to the Queen of Baton Rouge, your ultimate football destination this fall. In fact, we'll be out at the Queen tomorrow night. If you want to come hang out with us, watch a little Thursday night football, get some bets. We got some giveaways, drink some beers. It's a very good time. And look, when you're talking about the Queen, the DraftKings Sportsbook is fantastic. Wall-to-wall television's got all, piped in sound. You're good to go. They got a great bar right there, 1717 Restaurant and Lounge next door. Shaq's Big Chicken, the 3 Walk Noodle House, Capital Coffee to keep you locked in. And so you can do all your sports gambling, and then you can just go play casino games, okay? Newly renovated, the best, downtown Baton Rouge, the Queen BR.
Yeah, check out all the things they've got going on. The Jack Daniels giveaway, that's going to be Monday, November the 11th. They've got the DraftKings Sportsbook Parlay Payday. That is Mondays in November the 11th, the 18th, the 25th. $85,000 drive-in style Mercedes drawing on Fridays throughout November. Go check all that information out, thequeenbr.com.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to
This time, this place, misused mistakes.
Welcome back to more sports talk with some other stuff mixed in. Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. So we just laid out offensively where the inflection point. Defensively, I'll give Taylor credit here. This is something he was talking to me about this morning, and it's a pretty salient point. Broken clock and all that,
Can't give that man no credit.
Old T-Nut, before the government killed him, he managed to find, one of them acorns. But no, Taylor was talking to me about, look, man, the importance of Zy Alexander, right?
Yep.
And what he's mean to the season as a whole, certainly allowing Sage to move back to safety. Major Burns is really thriving in that star role. Stamps on the other side, holding it down. But more specifically, what does Zy Alexander mean for taking away Alabama's greatest weapon in Ryan Williams? Because Alabama has a bit of what Ole Miss had going on. Now, interestingly, I could argue that Ole Miss has started to get better in some ways without Trey Harris. Because if you look at the last couple of days, last couple of games for Ole Miss, Jackson Dart has to explore the other weapons that he has. He's had to have more trust in them. He's had to throw them more. So when Trey Harris gets back, he now has better relations with Watkins and Daquan Harris and Prieskorn's been all right, but Juice, he's had to finally work with some of those other guys.
Yeah.
The same disparity you see there, that's Alabama with Ryan Williams. Sure, Jeremy Bernard's fine, Kendrick Law's fine, but Ryan Williams is option A for that team. And so when you think about, okay, how do we take out Jalen Milroe? We talked about it yesterday. Obviously, great defensive line play is going to be critical. Stopping the run going to be critical. We've seen LSU can do these things. What's one way that you affect all of this? If you can take Ryan Williams out of the game plan, as least as much as you can. And Jake, is Zy Alexander the most important piece of getting that accomplished?
I love the question, and I think he is somebody that you absolutely had to have step up because of some of the other, not only just deficiencies at that position, T-Bob, but when you see all the changes that you just laid out, where it allowed everybody to move and what it allows everybody to do in that defensive backfield.
Yeah.
So it's not just his play. It's what it allows, Major Burns and Sage Ryan, like you laid out, to do. That part of it can't get lost because it's such a large part of the conversation. I don't know how much, and I think we talked about this Monday. Maybe it was, I don't know. I don't know how much you travel with Zy Alexander, Owen Williams. I don't know. But I do know that Trey Harris, when he was coming into this building, was the leading receiver in the country by over 175 yards.
Yeah.
He was that dominant. He was showing that he was going to dominate you in that game when Ashton Stamps was on him.
Yep.
And you said, hold up, wait a minute, can't do that. You put Zy Alexander over there, he has very minimal success. There's a reason why Zy Alexander is rated as one of the highest corners in the country. I don't know if that's ever been something that Blake Baker's enjoyed doing as far as sending a corner to travel with a receiver. I would find it, just me personally, I would find it very hard to not have Zy Alexander on Ryan Williams 85% of the time. He changes the math for you as far as what you can do, because their biggest thing isn't completely taken away, but you take a portion of it away. And so it allows you to put other guys maybe in a better place to try to stop everything else. And it's putting a lot on Zy Alexander, but he has shown, he's a veteran player, played a lot of football, that he can handle some of the better. Now, Trey Harris is a different receiver than him, but it is a guy that you can use to try to get that done and kind of shore that up enough to where the other guys can maybe go up a notch in their performance because of it.
Is Chris Little says, is Zy a first-round dude if he locks Williams down? I mean, no, I don't know about all that. But actually, we don't need to talk about that. Taylor, this is your take originally. What do you think about the importance of Zy Alexander? And if you force Bama to pass a lot, is that advantage LSU?
I mean, it certainly is because they like to run the ball, but also, like, let's look at what this does to Jalen Milroe if Zy Alexander locks down Ryan Williams, because where's Milroe the best? He can take the top off the defense. He's been the best at the deep passes. Where he's always struggled has been the short intermediate. Ryan Williams, as good of a route runner as he is, he's burned guys deep a lot this year. I mean, that's also their deep ball receiver, at least one of them that Jalen Milroe really likes to go to. Not only does Milroe have to go away from his first option, he's looking for more underneath stuff there, which is where he's really struggled. So, I think that actually changes everything in their game plan.
So, Zy Alexander, can you step up? LSU, can you stay on schedule? If you do these things, then the power of Death Valley and that setting and how hard it is to win on the road, all of that can come to the fore. But if you want that to matter, if you want this crowd to be able to push you over the top, which I absolutely think it can, we've seen it too many times tonight. If you want that to matter, you have to take care of your part of the equation, which is exactly what we just laid out the last two segments. All right, when we get back here and off the bench, a LSU player, a finalist for an award. Let's go ahead and close out hour number one.
Off the bench.
Go to Coleman Roof, ColemanRoof.com. Coleman Roofing and Construction, baby. Your most reliable, most respected, and most complete roofing company in Louisiana. They do any size job, commercial, residential, no job too big, no job too small. They're a bit like the Paw Patrol in that way. In fact,
no job too big, no job too small.
That's what I'm saying, dude. The other ways they're like the Paw Patrol is that they leave everything out there on the field when it comes to getting the job done correctly, efficiently, from estimate to cleanup. Any type of roof that you need. And the construction part, so like you got water damage in your home, well, they fix the interior, then they fix the roof, okay? ColemanRoof.com, ColemanRoof.com.
Yeah, it truly is, like T-Bob tells you all the time, a one-stop shop. So if you've got some weather coming this weekend, something happens in the interior of your home, they can help that as well. Go to the website, ColemanRoof.com.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain.
Back to sports talk. Maybe. Off the bench.
Daniel Ordwine asking, what station are you guys on in New Orleans now? I don't think we're on in New Orleans.
Not currently.
Right now. So if you want to listen to the show, you have the app you can listen to. Of course, 104.5 ESPN app. Or I would say youtube.com/1045 ESPN. Put it on, and that's always going to be a great way to do it. Are there any other ways that I'm missing here, Alondra, Taylor? Y'all know more about this than I do.
No, the app, the stream, or after the show, you can catch it wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah, there you go. So a few different ways you can still enjoy it. I think we'll be back on in New Orleans soon, but who knows? We'll see where that all goes. Crap. I had a question I wanted to ask, and now I seem to have forgotten it.
Yeah, 98.1 HD2 also, you can hear it on there too. And I think that goes down toward NOLA area.
Yeah, I don't
yes, you can get it pretty close. Like Laplace is, I was listening. Like it starts to get out right about there, but I was listening on the way to the airport the other day.
Yeah.
I was listening to y'all all the way like close to Laplace on that.
Great show. It's a good choice by you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Mason Taylor, a semifinalist for the Mackey Award. Shout out Mason Taylor, moving right along. If he wants to win said award, a big game on Saturday would go a long way towards doing it. And for everybody that's going to the game, I feel a lot like this, how I did about Ole Miss, and, vice versa, how you felt about Texas A&M, where do not kid yourself when I say if you are going to be in that stadium, you can make a massive, massive difference. Now, granted, like I always say, the team has to do their part. They have to give you things to cheer for. But that stadium against Ole Miss kind of held the line early on, and then the team came through for you in the end. In that same way, you have to hold the line. You have to make Alabama and Jalen Milroe uncomfortable. When did Alabama look their worst this entire season? When they played in their most hostile environment, when they went to Knoxville. And that stadium did its job. And as great as that stadium is, and it is, I mean, look, did you see the pageantry for that, all the Halloween night stuff last time? Did you see the light show with the band before? And the black and orange? Like, it's a cool stadium, but it is not the place where opponents' dreams come to die. That is Death Valley. Death Valley is singular when it is at its peak. And it will be at peak Death Valley this Saturday night, which means if you are in those stands, cheer your friggin' ass off. And no, look, what do we say? Okay, if you stop the run, you force Jalen Milroe into pass situations, it's probably a good thing for LSU. How are you going to affect Jalen Milroe? With a pass rush. What helps a pass rush? A great crowd. All of a sudden, offense is uncomfortable. Maybe they're jumping off sides. Pre-snap penalties kill drive. But even without pre-snap penalties, right? All of a sudden, the tackles are having to look at the ball, the same ball that Savion Jones and Braden Swinson are getting to fire off, looking at, or Javier Suggs, right? Like, you give your pass rushers, who are very good, that slight tenth of a second tick of an advantage because you take away the snap count advantage from the offense. So, and you just give guys power. You feel empowered. You get energy. You get juice from the energy that a crowd puts out in an elite stadium. So if you're going, get ready to bring a lunch pail and get ready to go freaking hard this weekend and make it hard on Alabama.
You certainly affected the Ole Miss game. It was one of the better times I have seen in that stadium. I'm talking like all time. I'm not just talking about in recent memory. And the best part about it was you never stopped. From the beginning of the game to the very end of the game, even when Ole Miss had momentum, even when they took a lead, you never stopped. And that place can take over a game. It can be an extra player on the field. And we all know, like, Ole Miss is certainly something every year, but we all know what this game is. We all know what this brings out in people, the best of LSU fans. And so I'm fully expecting it to be the same situation. But I would, encourage them, do like you did in the Ole Miss game. So no matter how it's going or no matter how you feel like it's going, just know that if you stay locked in, you'll affect the game.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Now it's to a point. Again, they got to do their job. They got to keep it close. They got to give you things to cheer about. But I think this team will. I do. This is a close matchup. I may give Alabama a slight edge in some areas, but it's kind of the same deal. I gave LSU a lot of slight edges going into A&M, but that stadium ended up being a massive difference. Well, you can accomplish that here again this Saturday night in Death Valley. And we mentioned the immortality of the Ole Miss game. That is this and then some. This is a type of game, first year of the college football playoff Thunderdome. You go out and win this, and you're one of the players that makes the heroic plays, and you will be remembered forever, at least in some sense. It's be a game that people tell their kids and their grandkids about. Hour 2 of OTB playoff talk coming up next.
Off the bench.
Go to yourgoodwood.com. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, okay? But it's not just about ED. It's about us as men just achieving our max potential. If you are suffering from ED, why? Full stop, why? You don't have to be, okay? You can go into Goodwood, see exactly what's going on with your body, and get a plan to get you to where you want to be. With ED, maybe you have low T, maybe you just feel old. The bottom line, we can help achieve your peak potential with affordable and transparent pricing, customizable plans to you and your needs. Go to yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com.
Yeah, live your life without fear or embarrassment. Schedule that appointment online today. Find a full list of services that they offer over at Goodwood. You can find pricing as well. You can give them a call, 225-4GD-WOOD. Also, all that information is, again, on their website, yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Loomis for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. here on Wednesday, November 6th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 86. In hour 2 of today's show, we'll be joined by Chris Plank to talk some college football. We'll look at the CFP outlook and what the heck is going on with the New Orleans Pelicans. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN and watch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert. Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
They said I gotta come off the bench.
Now, here's Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yo, what up, yo? Welcome in to OTB, hour number 2. And right now, it is our pleasure to be joined by Chris Plank, a man who does a ton of great work with Jake over there on Sirius XM 84. He also knows the Oklahoma Sooners inside out, a man who is a college football playoff expert. You can follow him on Twitter at Plank Show. Chris, what's up, man? How we doing today?
Awesome, man. Excited to see you guys here in a few weeks. It's going to be a fun time whenever the Sooners finally make the trip to Baton Rouge. But listen, I'm trying to generate outrage, guys. I see all these people that are mad about the playoff rankings. I'm not mad. It's the first playoff rank. Help me generate some outrage here. I got to be sports radio guy and be angry about it because I'm just not. It's the first one, and I think it's okay.
So it is funny, right? Because on a level-headed sense, we can all accept that, yeah, like this stuff will play out, right?
Right.
But also, as you're alluding to, we are in the business of dissecting this at a granular level, right? And so my question to you, Chris, is when you look at this initial ranking, what actually matters? Like, what pieces of information did we get that will carry forward as the results play out, right? Like, something to me that, for instance, doesn't matter is like Indiana being 8th. Now, yeah, you can say, oh, they should be higher, they should be this, they should be that. If Indiana wins Saturday, they're basically a guarantee to get in, right?
Absolutely.
So that doesn't matter. So what in this first ranking do you think actually matters and carries forward down the road?
Big wins matter. I think that's what it is. Big wins matter more than, say, a bad loss. And I think Tennessee would be my glaring example. And we'll see. I think Arkansas is a good football team. Whatever that was on Saturday against Ole Miss doesn't really prove me right.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good football team. And I think a Tennessee loss to Arkansas is minimized because they beat Alabama. Now, Penn State is kind of the exception to that because where is their big win, right? It's more as if they were rewarded because, hey, you played Ohio State tight. But I got to be honest, guys, if there was one thing that did surprise me, Georgia not being 2 and Ohio State being 2, I thought was a little bit shocking. So maybe I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth here a little bit and contradicting myself, but I do think that big wins are going to matter. Alabama's in this because they beat Georgia. Doesn't matter that you lost to Vandy, right? Doesn't matter, what's happened. You're in this because you beat Georgia. So I still think the big wins matter over maybe, even look at Indiana being undefeated right now. And I will say this, everyone does their little comparative kind of, this is one team's resume and this is the other team's resume, and a lot of people are liking to compare BYU and Texas last night. But if I'm BYU, I don't care if I'm 9 because you're essentially 4 because the Big 12 is eating itself alive. Yeah. So I mean, to me, I still think it's big wins that are mattering over, say, even a loss or 2, and that will continue to happen. I mean, if Indiana wins this week, you're right. They're guaranteed to be in the playoffs pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So I think big wins still matter over big-time opponents.
One of the other takeaways that I think could potentially carry forward, Chris, do you agree with this? Does this tell you that the Big 12 will only be getting one team in?
Yeah, I think so. And I think whenever Iowa State got beat by Texas Tech and when Kansas State got knocked off last weekend by Houston, I think that was a pretty solid indicator that you're asked, sorry, you're not going to get that second big payday. Yeah. Now, I'd be curious if I was Brett Yormark, in wanting to build the exposure for the league, do you go like Jim Phillips did and call the code red and make sure Colorado gets all the calls, and expand the brand so they can end up being the team in the 12-team playoff, and more specifically the team that's in the Big 12 championship game. But, I covered the Big 12 from its inception, and it was funny because the narrative was, hey, the Big 12 always would have got 2 teams in the playoffs. But, one of those 2 teams in every single one of those conversations was either Oklahoma or Texas.
It was mainly just Oklahoma, but yes, for sure.
Yeah, listen, I was trying to be, I'm trying to be humbled here a little bit, but and so I think that's been a little bit of a wake-up call to him. But I spent way too much time on Twitter last night, boys. I'm just going to be honest with you, way too much time after our show. And what kind of stood out was how many people in Big 12 country were, well, BYU being ranked 9 shows you all you need to know about how the committee feels about the Big 12. Well, I mean, no, because they'd still be a team that has a bye and would get that weekend off that I think is going to be huge in the playoffs. Now, if BYU loses and you fall below Boise and you end up where you're not even in one of those 4 spots, all right, then we have a conversation. But, you're getting one team in unless we have an absolute chaos scenario down the stretch for the Big 12.
Blanker, I want to talk about the group of 5 spot. EJ and I got into this a little bit yesterday. He thinks like the Boise State wins out, they are absolutely in. And I brought up Army, and obviously you've got a son who's a cadet there. You know the program well. You watch it. That's a team that still has a lot of opportunities on their schedule to build a resume. I mean, they play Notre Dame in the Bronx. If they continue to win, they probably look like they're going to play Tulane in the American championship game, and that would be another quality win. Like, if this Army team wins out, because I know that right now it looks like Boise State, group of 5, it's theirs to lose. All they got to do is win. And I know Washington State's sitting there at 21, but Boise has the head-to-head. I argue with EJ yesterday. I think Army has enough left on their resume. If they win out, how in the world would you keep the Black Knights out of it and put Boise in if you're undefeated with a Notre Dame win?
Yeah, by the way, speaking of my son, Jacob, he never cared about college football. Now all of a sudden he's calling me, asking about injuries and talking about teasers and parlays.
That's right.
Do you think he gets in a state where gambling's legal and he gets around his boys and he's like, hey, guys, let's wet the beak on this one a little bit?
No doubt.
But in all seriousness, I mean, you got Notre Dame on the schedule. Now, I think it could, Navy just lost to Rice. So you would potentially have maybe Memphis in that AAC championship game, and that's a highly thought of team as well. And then you would get Navy in the actual Army-Navy game. So, and especially if they go and they beat in the Bronx Notre Dame, I think there's a great case to be made for Army being in the mix and being that team that could get the call. But it seemed to me with Boise being at 12, something disastrous needs to happen to Boise, and it could. Right? They could lose a game. But I mean, I want a champion for Army, and I want to see them be a team that gets in, but I just think it's going to take something from an implosion nature for Boise for them to be able to get in,
which
unfortunately.
That is, and I kind of agree with you. That's what we were talking about yesterday, which I think is wild. If you're Army and you have a better win than Boise State has on their resume,
right.
You're undefeated. Their best thing that they have right now is a close loss to Oregon. That was a great game, but a close loss. And if you beat Notre Dame, who currently right now is still in the top 10, like I feel like your resume would be better. But Planker, I mean, you're like, there's a lot of people that had the same mindset that we're kind of talking about right now. If Boise State wins, they're in, even though I actually would prefer Army's.
I feel like if Army did go undefeated, then they would have a very real chance of Boise jumping. I think of jumping Boise. I think this is the playoff committee telling you they don't think Army's going to go undefeated.
Right.
I agree.
Right, like that they're because their whole deal, right, is we look at the teams and we objectively rank them on who we think is best, and they're just telling you they believe Boise's a better team. But if the resume, if Army actually finishes this fight, yeah, I mean, the resume would be pretty unimpeachable. Let's look at the ACC here because obviously Miami, top 5, stalwart, undefeated, looks great. Their offense is good enough where they should finish undefeated. Now, what happens in a playoff scenario? That defense is a huge liability. We'll see. But SMU's interesting to play with here. Easiest Power 4 schedule in the entire country. If you get to an ACC championship and SMU beats Miami, so they're the auto bid, does the ACC then get 2 teams in?
Tell me if you think I'm crazy, T-Bob. I thought it was pretty telling that Vandy and South Carolina weren't ranked.
I know.
And you look down there, and then there's Louisville getting a little bit of a rocket ship up their backside. It's some of the ACC teams that were still lingering near the bottom of the rankings. I'm not going to sit here and claim that there was any tomfoolery or nonsense, but I really think Vandy and South Carolina are top 25 teams.
I agree.
And I think on a neutral field, South Carolina would destroy Louisville. I think they're going to beat Clemson in a couple of weeks. So I felt like the deck in this one was kind of stacked towards, making the ACC look a little bit better. And again, if that stays that way, with the bottom of the rankings and Louisville continues to win and moves up, Clemson continues to stay in the top 25 conversation, then yeah, I think they're going to get that second team. But I think SMU is going to lose the game. I mean, maybe I'm holding against them how ugly that BYU game was earlier this year. I mean, that was a gross football game. So with that in mind, I think they're going to stub their toe a bit, and I think that you're going to end up in a scenario where you've got 2 of the 4 Power 4 leagues that are really scratching, fighting, and clawing to get a second bid. Miami's a slam dunk. SMU is in a great situation right now. They're bolstered by the bottom of the top 25, the lower end of it, but I just think someone's going to get them. Right now, they're in a good spot to get 2 teams in, but this is one of those, hey, let's check back in a couple weeks.
Plank, more likely to get 4 teams in, the Big Ten or the SEC?
Ooh, I like this.
I think the Big Ten is guaranteed to get 4 teams in almost at this point.
Yeah. Now again, I'm new to this here SEC that we're talking about, boys, but I feel like that we're going to kind of eat our own, if you will, right? Even if Ole Miss beats Georgia next week. I mean, this is an Ole Miss team that lost to Kentucky, and Oklahoma had them on the ropes at halftime. Like they could lose the next week, and you're like, what the hell just happened? Even if this weekend, and I think what's funny is there was some hand-wringing over how is Alabama so low or LSU so high. That's one of those that I don't care about because those 2 teams are going to play. Whoever wins that is going to be in the spot, right? So I think that, beating up yourself is going to hurt the SEC a little bit. And I think T-Bob's right. I think you're pretty much in a spot right now where Ohio State and Oregon are pretty much in, and, Indiana is right there. I think it's going to be tough to truly get 4 because, someone's dropping out this weekend, either Ole Miss or LSU or Alabama, right? Someone's done after this weekend. And maybe I don't know if I would put Georgia in there because that would be their second loss, but they at least wouldn't be 3. And I don't see that happening for the Big Ten, even if Indiana loses to Michigan this weekend.
Yeah, it's crazy that the Big Ten, they've always had their there's been this kind of line of demarcation between a few like really elite teams and then like everybody kind of else. Whereas the SEC, I think, in that everybody else category has better teams, right? And it leads to the cannibalization that you're talking about.
T-Bob, did you have a problem with where Penn State was?
No, I don't really. No, I mean, what are they, 6? I know that's maybe a bit higher than some people would have thought. I mean, Penn State's going to finish 11-1, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're going to look really good while doing so.
And why Oregon and Ohio State probably play each other in the championship game. They're watching that.
Like, did Penn State fail a massive toughness check against Ohio State? Absolutely. Like, they tried to stand and bang with Ohio State, thinking they could, and they got knocked out. But I don't know that I think any of these other Big Ten teams are able to take advantage. Like, James Franklin is a bit like Marvin Lewis to me, where what he's achieved when he was with the Bengals, right, where the Bengals were god-awful and then make the playoffs 7 times in a row. Something Bengals fan would have killed for a while, but he could never take that next step. Like, being as consistently good as James Franklin has been is really freaking hard. But for whatever reason, he can't overcome that next step, and eventually that kind of stagnation breeds contempt.
Yeah. And if they end up in the playoffs, it's a good season. You got to win a game, right? And you got to move on, because you're right. They're going to be in a situation every year where they're going to be 10-2 or 11-1, and everyone's going to be like, hey, they're in the Big Ten and they played a tough schedule, so they should be in. Meanwhile, this year, you avoid the Indiana, for example, you avoid a tough road trip to Columbus. You lost to them at home. You avoid the big dogs. So yeah, I'm with you, man. They're going to end up getting in this thing at 11-1 and not playing the Big Ten championship.
Planker, last one for me. Which fan base would have the biggest meltdown if their team didn't make it into the college football playoff? Because there doesn't have to be a lot. Like, if Ole Miss loses to Georgia, they're out. We know what they put into this season. Let's say Ohio State gets upset by Indiana. Alabama, if they lose to LSU. Like, there's some fan bases that expect excellence every single year that with just one more loss could potentially be out of this deal. Which one would be the biggest meltdown?
Alabama. I mean, they were mad about their coach wearing a T-shirt, for goodness sakes, Jacob Hester. I mean, that place is crazy town, and I'm here for it. And I don't think it would be anything necessarily to do with thinking they belong in, right? I think that there would be the understanding that you're not where you need to be. I think it would more be about, hey, did we get the right guy to replace Nick Saban? I think Alabama would be the team knocking the door. But again, I think they're in a good spot unless they drop a third game. If you stay at 2 losses and you beat LSU and you get left out, well, then maybe we have a conversation, right? But I am here for the freak out with Alabama fans. I mean, at least they found out that Vandy's pretty good. I mean, Vandy deserved to be ranked in the rankings last night, for goodness sake. Oh, my gosh. But, yeah, I'm here for the Alabama meltdown because I think it would be fantastic. Now, from a content perspective, I bet you guys, we want to see LSU move on, but I bet it'd be fun for the calls and for the content on the show to have something like that happen. But as 2 alums, I'm sure you'd much rather have them moving on than a freak out from the fans.
I always find anger interaction is a bit like when you see a company chase short-term profits at the cost of kind of long-term brand damage, right? Where sure you might get a spike in the short term, but ultimately, if your team remains bad, it's bad for you.
Yeah.
We work. I feel you. Yeah.
Planker, last one. One quirk about all of this is the 5th seed is looking mighty interesting because yes, you don't get a bye, which sucks, but you get to play the group of 5 team, and then you would get to play the 4 seed, who could be a BYU or, like we laid out, maybe like an SMU that wins the ACC. Mm-hmm. Like, you could have a pretty friendly first 2 games of the playoff if you're the 5th seed.
Absolutely. Which is why I was By the way, just quick little sidebar, because maybe I sometimes I need things explained to me like I'm a fifth grader. Can we just do the rankings and then you put them in the bracket? Because when you've got BYU at 9, then all of a sudden it's like they're actually 4. All right, here comes number 8. Who's actually, not. You're like, wait, what? But that's why whenever Ohio State popped there at 5, I thought, oh my gosh, that's a perfect spot. But there's no way they're going to end up at 5, right? Because they're either going to be 1 or 2, or probably, sitting much lower than that. So you're right. And isn't 5 likely going to end up being, oh gosh, guys, I mean, could Tennessee end up as the 5?
I think
when
it'll be,
about it,
will it be a really good conference championship loser?
Yeah, it could be Texas.
That doesn't get the bye?
Ooh, yes, that would probably be it. Which is why, but can you put, let's say hypothetically, okay, it's Ohio State, but Ohio State lost to Oregon twice. They lose to them in the Big Ten championship game. Would you put a 2-loss team there at 5? That's kind of where my mind is thinking in this.
I don't know. Or like an 11-1 Pitt State, but they didn't have to play. That's going to be interesting to me, Planker, is like, how do you handle the conference championship loss? Is that scored the same as – because, like, could a 3-loss conference championship loser get in? I think they should be able to, but a 3-loss regular season team should not be able to.
That's right. So that's going to be the fascinating thing to see as we go a little bit deeper in it. One of those that here in the with last night in the first rankings, I don't think people really truly understood just how big of a decision that's going to be. And also because we have so much, I think we only got like 4 more weeks left of the season, but so much more, evidence and different kind of analytics and everything we're going to be able to look at, numbers, strength of schedule to figure this out. But I'll tell you what, who ends up at 5 might have themselves a pretty sweet slide right into the semifinals.
Yeah, I agree. Chris Plank, Sirius XM, college football analyst. Catch them all over there. Catch them all over the Sooner Radio Network. Everything Oklahoma. This man knows inside out. Plank, thanks so much for joining us this morning, man.
Thanks, Plank.
Thanks, T-Bob. Thanks, Jacob. You guys are the best, man. See you in a few weeks.
All right, later, brother. See you in a few weeks. This is gonna be a lot of fun for sure. That Oklahoma game will. See, there's a bit more intrigue to this. It's infinitely more interesting in a 12-team system than it was in a 4-team system.
I got intrigued yesterday, like I was saying with EJ. Like I got intrigued with like the group of 5 discussion because I get what everyone's saying. And EJ was like, look, Boise State wins are in. I get that. And Army has.
Not if Army wins out.
And Army has games that, like against the Notre Dame, that they're probably going to be, 3-touchdown dog. I get that. But if they run the table and they beat Notre Dame, and also whoever they play in the American Championship game would be a damn good football team.
Because Tulane's
an offensive pass interference away from maybe being where Boise's at.
Yeah.
Because they would have a K-State win.
Yeah.
When they scored, and it was a
Darian Mensah and John Summerall's got that thing going in New
very
Orleans.
soft call on the offensive pass interference. Now they went to Norman the next week and had moments, but didn't handle business. But they would have a Kansas State win that would be better than any Boise State win. Boise State beat Washington State. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, the Wazoo win.
But K-State's 19 and Wazoo's 21, so still Tulane would have the better win.
So I don't know. I'm with you. I'm not. A undefeated Army could definitely throw a wrench in all of that. I think the committee's just telling you they don't think they're going to go on.
What is that? Do we have a line on? If Bryson Daly doesn't play, by the way, like Army has no chance against Notre Dame, and they've got a tough one against North Texas on the road this week. I don't see a line just yet, but the matchup predictor, Notre Dame, 86.5%.
There you go.
Chance to win.
All right, so there's a little college football playoff talk. Why don't we preview some more of the college football weekend that will be coming up next here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
Go to centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org, 925-8552, 925-8552. Central Plumbing is your one-stop plumbing shop and has been so for half a century, guys. Half a century, not exaggeration. How do you stand that test of time? How do you grow in the way that they have? Well, it's because your customers are consistently satisfied. That's commercial. That's residential. It's because of the flat rate pricing. No surprise or hidden fees. It's because of the excellent warranty. It's because of the fact they've seen it all so they can fix it all. Go to centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org.
Go there today, not only in emergencies, but if you're looking to upgrade. Now, emergency does mean 24/7, 365, game day, weekday, holiday, the whole deal. But if you're looking to upgrade at your home or business, then they are the place to go. They can come in, they can take a look at what you're wanting to get done, and they can make sure that it gets done the right way the first time. Also, if you never want to run out of hot water again, you want to go tankless with a tankless water heater, they can install that for you as well. 225-925-8552.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Loomis for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving.
How quickly will this segment leave the rails? It's Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
We're going to get some Pelicans talk. Pelicans back in action tonight. The injury report is just already a god-awful mess that defies comprehension. And they're taking on a Cavs team that is trying to go 9-0 for the first time. Is it franchise history? Yeah, trying to go 9-0 for the first time in franchise.
You give me that news, and I missed 3 doors down because I was getting some coffee. The hell?
It's a rough day.
Man.
Your day's ruined. What are you going to do?
It's a banger.
Yeah, I can.
15 seconds, 3 doors down. I agree. It's tough.
Yeah. It's a good song.
All right, so let's talk about some of the other games going down this week. And, of course, LSU Alabama, the headliner. UGA, Ole Miss, kind of the undercard here. But I love it because I think you have 2 headline games, and then you have 2 kind of games that are games that we never would have thought would have the intrigue entering the season. And one of them, Tay-Tay, you got to come to grips with.
Uh-oh.
That's Colorado at Texas Tech.
It's a big game.
Because all of a sudden, here sits Colorado. Here sits Coach Prime. They win this game. and they are in a damn good spot to play in that Big 12 championship game. And if they do that, I mean, they're a win away from the playoff. And all this talk that you were spearheading about Coach Prime being all flash, no substance. How do we feel about Prime now that Colorado looks like they're actually pretty damn good this year?
No, so I'm glad you brought this up. Last week, we talked about this with Jake, and look, I'm going to give him credit where credit's due. You know, last year when you looked at Colorado, because like they finished 4-8, but they started the season 3-1.
Yeah,
you looked at all the toss-up games. And what do you say? Bad teams find a way to lose. Good teams find a way to win. They lost every single one of those toss-up games last season.
Yeah.
You look at the ones this year that you thought were 50-50, they found ways to win them. They are winning those toss-up games. Because, like, you look at their schedule, is there a chance they lose all 4? Yeah, but there's a chance they win all 4 as well. So, like, these next 4 weeks are really telling. But, like, credit to Dion, you know, you look at last year, it's just it was too big of expectations too quickly. It was but this year it's a complete turnaround. I mean, it's a great job.
Okay, wow.
I didn't have that on my bingo card.
No, there
Although,
you go, dude.
I said this to Alondra and Jake.
I
got to say it to you.
What's your exit ramp here?
No, I got to say it to you too, because this will probably be brought up on ESPN at some point. Jake asked me, what would I do if the Dallas Cowboys hired Deion Sanders? We marked it down then. We can mark it down now. I will find a new team to cheer for. But credit to him. He's doing a great job at Colorado this year.
mean, I get it. No, I don't get a new team to cheer for. I get not feeling like Prime is some sort of home run NFL hire. But find a new team to cheer for? What has he shown you in his coaching resume that would make you think he'd just be a disaster? Because all he's done is win. And he's taken over plays that have been awful.
It's not that. I don't know. I don't vibe with Dion. I just don't. He's not my vibe.
Here's the thing about this game, Jake, that I find to be shocking. First off, if Texas Tech loses, it's not because of the offense. The offense is awesome. Their running back, Taj Brooks, is freaking awesome.
Yeah, he's been awesome for a couple of years.
Even in the losses, he's been great.
Yeah.
Texas Tech leads the Big 12 in scoring. However, their defense is god-awful.
Played well last week against Iowa State, but Iowa State's offense is not great.
Yeah, exactly, right? Texas Tech's defense gives up 36.5 points a game. And so I see that. Oh, also, their pass defense gives up 40 more yards than anybody in the Big 12. So Shadur and company feel very well suited to take advantage of that. But in looking at all this, Jake, the thing I didn't realize, Colorado's defense is actually good.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're actually good. They're 6th in the Big 12. They only allow 22 points a game. How about this? You know, I love stop rate. How often an opponent gets the ball? How often do they score? Colorado's 16th in the country.
Yep.
Opponents only score 27.8% of the time when they get the ball. For instance, I'll name you some big names that ranks ahead of Iowa, Penn State, Nebraska, UGA, Mizzou, Michigan, LSU. The list goes on and on. And so if you're telling me Colorado's been better with the common opponents, they have the better quarterback, they appear well suited to take advantage of Tech's greatest weakness, and their defense may actually be kind of good, then yeah, I like the Buffs to go on the road to Lubbock and come out with a win here.
Look at what Colorado has remaining, okay? So this might actually be their toughest trip, because you look at where Utah's at. That's who they have after that. That game's at home, and Utah offensively atrocious. You go at Kansas, they've been bad. They have not lived up to the expectation. And then you've got a winless in conference play, 0-6 in the Big 12, Oklahoma State.
Oh, we can get to my Gundy's comments
so
too.
You're going to, if you get past Texas Tech, you are going to face teams that currently sit an overall record combined of 2-14 in Big 12 play. 2-14 between Utah, Kansas, and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State was the second team in the media poll preseason, number 2. Utah was 1, and right now they have a combined 1 win in conference play. If Colorado goes to Lubbock, which is going to be difficult, that is not going to be easy. In fact, let's see.
Perfect weather, though. I thought maybe it'd be hot because it's still hot here. It's going to be 60 degrees at kickoff.
The number has come down. It started 3.5 for Colorado. Now it's down to 3, so not a lot of movement. But so, you know, not a lot of room for error in this one, but if you get past this one, you have a strong chance to be in the Big 12 title game. You win that. Not only, as we know, are you in the college football playoff, you are the 4th overall seed with a bye.
Go to Acton Baton Rouge, actonbr.com for AC heating and electrical needs. Trust the experts at AccuTemp. Service to the highest degree. That's what AccuTemp does. That's why they have such incredible reviews online with thousands of reviews. It's because, again, everything is about customer service and just, the anecdote I always go back to is the first time I had them out to my home after we started doing commercials for them. And I don't get any sort of deal or anything. This is just like whatever we got to call it, same way everybody else does. And my wife didn't even know I did commercials for me. And she was like just unbidden. It was like, that was the best customer experience I've ever had working with a company. That could be you. Also, storm seasons this year, next year, whenever you want to explore like a whole home generator to make sure your home is protected, AgTemp, they get you right there. So AC, heating, electrical needs, AgTemp, Baton Rouge, AgTempBR.com. Other games I want to talk about here. I do want to get to UGA Ole Miss. Real quick, I love that South Carolina-Vandy's such a big matchup.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually crazy. South Carolina is a couple of critical plays away from being a playoff team right now. One of the best teams in the entire country. Vanderbilt, one of the darlings. Games in Nashville. And I feel a bit disrespectful, Jake, but I do find myself siding with South Carolina here. I feel like South Carolina has NFL dudes all over that field. And so I'm going to fall into the trap of once again disrespecting Vanderbilt. And I feel like Lenore Sellers is not as good as Diego Pavia, but Lenore Sellers has been getting better and better as the years gone on. So give me South Kakalaka on the road.
I'm probably in the same mindset as you are.
Oh, wow, really? I didn't know. So you're going to betray your fullback brethren as well?
I think Rocket Sanders, though, is the reason why.
Okay.
I think we oftentimes forget how good he was at Arkansas.
Yep.
And then he was never really healthy over the last year and a half. He wasn't healthy when he played LSU. He still had a pretty big day. He's healthy now.
Yeah.
South Carolina has one of the more talented rosters, I think, in the entire SEC. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I can see it being like a 31-28 barn burner type situation. But right now, I'd probably favor South Carolina. I think the advantages they have in the trenches in that game is probably the reason why.
All right, when we get back, let's talk about UGA Ole Miss, as well as what you can expect out of the weather Saturday as it pertains to LSU Alabama. Keep it locked here off the bench.
Off the bench.
Tommy's Windows, Doors, and Siding. GEAUXTommys.com. GEAUXTommys.com. You need harder plank, Gravata siding, wood or vinyl windows. You need any type of door. You want to go with the experts over there at Tommy's. And as I always tell you, man, just make them one of the bids on your project, right? Like that's how confident we are. How's that? Make them one of the bids and let the team prove to you why they are the correct people for your job. And when you're talking about things like, maybe installing some new windows, you're talking about conserving energy, saving on bills, an investment in your greatest asset, your home, that literally pays for itself over time. GEAUXTommys.com.
Yep, go to that website today, like T-Bob said, kind of see what they can do for you. They got a great gallery of work. But also, like, if you've got an idea in your head, like we tell you all the time, like, let them know. Like, they can customize your job and they can make sure you get what you're looking for. Go Tommys.com.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
The best-kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's
Back to sports talk. Maybe. Off the bench.
Welcome back to OTB. Coach Prime, man. Also, Travis Hunter's awesome. I don't think Colorado can lose another game, but if they win the Big 12, big if. Mm-hmm. And again, everything in the Big 12, I should have prefaced it, is privy to the fact that the entire conference is insane top to bottom. And so all analysis on paper can just go up in flames, by the weekend. For sure. But if they win the Big 12, I think Travis Hunter wins the Heisman. And I think he should.
I've got right now, in my thought process, I've got 4 guys that I'm thinking about.
Cam Ward. Let me try to guess him. Cam Ward.
For my Heisman vote.
Travis Hunter. Ashton Jante.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Who's the 4th?
Can I guess?
Dylan Gabriel.
Oh, duh. Yeah. I'd forgotten about Gabriel. Okay, that makes sense.
Number 1 player on the number 1 team. And just watching him in person last week, effortlessly leads his team.
Yeah.
Like there's a calm nature about him and his play that was highly impressive to me. So I mean, I love the fact that we're sitting here and honestly, like there's leaders in the clubhouse, but like it's pretty wide open.
Oh yeah.
I think like the people you talk to, it's pretty wide open as far as who right now, if it ended today, you might get 4 different answers. Yes, 4 voters. So.
All right, let's talk about the kind of undercard of the weekend. Georgia traveling to Oxford to take on Ole Miss. Ole Miss on the ropes, cannot afford another loss. Of course, Georgia, despite the fact that they look to be flawed, it's so hard to figure out, okay, what is the actual measure of Georgia, right? Do they feel more flawed than they are because they're being judged on a relative scale compared to the great Georgia teams of the past few years? Or are they actually that flawed? Because, you almost lose to Kentucky. You almost lose to Florida. But you nearly beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and you do beat Texas in Texas. Also, there's that crazy stat that over the past 4 years, you're still 48-0 against teams that are not named Alabama. So it's like I can't figure out exactly what the truth of this Georgia team is. That said, I think Jackson Dart has really grown these last couple of weeks. I don't put too much into the Arkansas game because that's just a really good matchup for Ole Miss and a bad one for Arkansas. But I kind of feel like Dart and Kiffin are due for a big home Siggy win, and I kind of feel like Georgia's a bit due for a loss that informs us that, okay, no, maybe they really are just kind of flawed this season. I like Ole Miss to win at home Saturday night.
Yeah, it depends on which one shows up. It really does. They're two different teams. Is it going to be the team that last week showed up against Arkansas and finally scored some points because they had not been doing that?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be the one that limped into a game against Kentucky and couldn't get anything done? And you saw kind of both of them in the LSU game. It was Jekyll and Hyde. So the best version of Ole Miss can absolutely beat Georgia, because if they start to put up points, like I just don't know that Georgia, like playing from behind now with Carson Beck, I just don't know how it's going to go for him, because right now he's got the yips.
Garrett Nussmeier had to make some incredible plays to avoid that Ole Miss pass rush. Carson Beck's going to feel that pressure as well. You know, pocket quarterback, traditional guy.
Yeah.
And you got Umanmi, Ellen, Perkins, Jared Ivey, Noel, like all those guys. Like when Ole Miss's defense is locked in, they beat the hell out of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They broke Taylor Green last week. Now, they're not always locked in, right?
They did against South Carolina, too.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying. When they're locked in, they can completely shut you down. And from a matchup standpoint, I don't see a lot of ways in which Georgia takes advantage of that Ole Miss defense. So I agree with you. That offense for Ole Miss can get going. Georgia will struggle to keep up. How's UGA's O-line?
All right.
They're all right. Yeah. They're all right. They're not as good as we kind of thought they were going to be preseason, though. Again, that probably applies to all of Georgia. Kind of not as good. I mean, look at Carson Beck. Thought he was the number one pick in the entire draft, almost hands down. And now, like Jake said, he's kind of got the yip. So give me Ole Miss at home Saturday night, baby.
I'm
sure this is where Kirby locks in and just proves I'm wrong. But whatever. I'm still saying.
I don't think that's a wild pick by any means. I think it being in Oxford, I think Ole Miss backs against the wall. Ole Miss a talented roster. Ole Miss has already used their mulligan multiple times. God, the way Jackson Dart played last week, if he plays like
that's without Trey Harris too. Maybe you get Trey Harris back this week. He's been rested a couple weeks.
Look, I do not think it's wild.
Saturday afternoon, excuse me.
Yeah, they did not get Saturday night. Lane tells you
I know.
that.
He's all mad.
How do you think he felt when LSU got game day? Even more mad? Or
yeah, little salty. Little salty. And that ain't Joey Freshwater.
I'm going
Joey Saltwater.
There you go. I like that, actually. Well done. I'm going to go. I like Ole Miss as well.
Oh, let's go.
I think I do because
let's go.
Right now, you've got an injury at the running back position as well for Georgia. Your weapons are just not game-changing. Your weapons are solid. They're not game-changing right now. Like, we talked about the tight end position for so long in the offseason for Georgia. It's been highly disappointing. The receivers never had any kind of expectation from me to go out there and be great. I don't know that if it gets into a thing where Jackson Dart's balling that Georgia can keep up. And that sounds wild to say, but I don't think he can. I don't think right now with the weapons that we should say does not have, that he can go in a shootout and beat that talented Ole Miss offense. And the defense for Ole Miss that, honestly, doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see Saturday afternoon in Oxford. Coming up next, talk a little Pellies to close out hour number 2 of OTB.
Off the bench.
Go to Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Not attorneys. Attorneys. Get Gordon. Get it done. 225-888-8888. Or you can go to getgordon.com. You can fill out a free consult right there online. They'll get in touch with you immediately. You can also check out all the different cases that they handle. If you want to, is this for Gordon? I don't know. Let me see. Okay. It's right there at getgordon.com. You can also see results from past customers. You can explore their philanthropic endeavors, their Gordon Gives initiatives. Or follow him on social media at Kate Gordon, where you get great business advice, life advice, how to protect yourself against an accident, and see content with your favorite athletes, your members of the G team. Gordon McCartney, attorney to Kate Gordon. Get done.
Go to GetGordon.com, and always remember, after you go to the website, if you want to have a conversation with them, it is your area code in Louisiana. Follow by 888-8888, always on social media at Get Gordon. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Loomis for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered.
Welcome in to the best morning sports-ish show around. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
It starts with
one thing. I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Just keep that in mind. Design this rhyme to explain in due time.
all I know. Time is a valuable thing. Watch it fly by as the pendulum swings.
I was thinking about this yesterday.
This song?
No.
Oh.
Some 41 song.
I was thinking of a Stroke 9
Fat Lip.
song.
I was thinking of the line.
Stroke 9.
Little Black Backpack.
Don't know us at all. We laugh when no people fall. And what would you expect with a conscience so small? What a hard line, dude.
It goes
I
hard.
mean, what a hard line, dude. I see an old person fall, I'm cracking up. I agree, some 41. We're badasses.
I love when people fall.
Actually, as I get older, that's very sad. I'm like, wait, what? That is mean, actually.
Well, I just people, when people fall.
Like the Pelicans, who appear to be made of geriatrics, as their bodies are. I don't know, guys. I don't know. So they're 3-5 right now. Zion plays on Friday, drops 34. Okay, let's freaking go, dude. Then He's supposed to play on Sunday. He's not on the injury report. 2 hours for the tip, he suddenly is on the injury report. Hamstring and quad tightness, he sits. Then they have a back-to-back on Monday night. He doesn't even travel with the team. He sits. And now on Wednesday, he is once again listed as questionable. And right now, the New Orleans Pelicans, not even 10 games into the season, have C.J. McCollum out for at least another week with a right adductor strain. Herb Jones is dealing with a shoulder strain and a minor rotator cuff tear. He'll be out anywhere 2 weeks to a month. DeJounte Murray fractures his hand in the fourth quarter of the season's opener. He's out. He had surgery. He's out indefinitely. And Trey Murphy is still out with a hamstring strain for the preseason. And Ty Williamson's not even playing. Bro, what in the hell? What are we being punished for? Why?
Well, you got Dennis Allen out of the way, and so it's the same ownership. And so, like, the sports gods were like, hey, we did you this favor, even though it should have been done years ago. It should actually have never happened, but we're going to give you this, but we got to take that.
No, sports gods. No, we had to suffer Dennis Allen.
I know.
We deserve better. I've just never seen anything like it. I mean, it is year after year that this team continues to be defined by injuries. And if it was just Zion, I'd say, sure, his body's freakish, obviously, like, maybe his body just can't handle his power, right?
Then, look,
that is what it is. But, like, why is DeJounte Murray randomly getting hurt?
Yeah.
Why is Herb randomly getting hurt? Why is Murphy randomly getting hurt? Why is CJ? And why all at once when the season just freaking began?
You got Dyson Daniels emptying the clip on your bench as well after he hits a three.
That's messed up. Hear me
Like,
out.
oh, you want to trade me?
Tyron Lacey'd him.
Hear me out.
What?
He did.
We had to sacrifice all of this so that LSU will win a natty.
If LSU wins on Saturday, it will make me feel better about this. If they lose, though, we're in a bad spot.
Yeah.
Tigers out of the playoffs. Bama winning in Death Valley.
Ugh.
Saints in abject disaster. Pelicans, the same old Pelicans, injured to all hell. Zion not the savior. I mean, it's a bad scene.
Basketball season starts tonight.
That's right, baby.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Beat ULM.
Beat them.
Brian Vincent ain't coming through those doors. He coaches football.
Stan Humphries hitting.
Hour 3 next.
Hey,
Off the bench.
Go to Main Event. We are so pumped to be partnered with Main Event now here on OTB because we love fun, right? And you know who else loves fun? Main Event. Like, why pigeonhole yourself into one activity when you can have them all? You want cosmic bowling? We got you. You want a multi-level laser tag arena? We got you. You want a massive game floor with over 100 arcade games? We got you. Full-service bar, revised menu, okay? You need a fundraiser, an unforgettable birthday party, a corporate event, a sales milestone, anything. Book now at mainevent.com. Mainevent.com.
Yeah, check out all the things that you can do. I mean, T-Bob laid out so many. They're open late as well. Like tonight, they're open till midnight.
Hey now.
Friday and Saturday, they open to 2 a.m., right? And you can make it like whatever you want. Corporate event. If you want to book the bowling alley, if you want to book a birthday party, if you just want to go have dinner with your family and then play games like we do all the time, like you can do all of those things over at Main Event. Check it out online, mainevent.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Loomis for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second.
Good morning. It's a 9 a.m. here on Wednesday, November 6th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 86. In hour 3 of today's show, we'll continue to talk college football and the NFL, and we'll close things out with Ask the Bench. If you missed hours 1 or 2 of the show, you can catch it on the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. You can also follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN and watch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel. Hour number 3 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz Baton Rouge studios, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert. Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Hey, they said I gotta come off the bench.
Now, here's Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome in. Hour number 3 of OTB. And
is Flynn coming in tomorrow?
I believe so.
I believe so, right?
I believe so.
I just realized it's Wednesday.
I don't know if we got
he
confirmation. Yeah, he told us he couldn't make it. He said
yes on tomorrow.
We want him Thursday. Yeah. I don't know. Tay, does your NFL story of the day have to do with any trade deadline talk? If not, I'm saying I know you have trade deadline takes.
Yeah, I got some trade deadline
I want to
takes.
know who you think was the biggest winner of the NFL trade deadline.
Yeah, because
very active.
we
anyways,
know
very
the
exciting.
biggest loser is the Dallas Cowboys trading for Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah.
Make that face. Make it make sense.
He likes
then.
it. He likes it.
No, I don't like it.
He's had one catch for like 1 yard in the last.
There's only
3 weeks.
one Mingo that I care about, and his name is Barkevius.
That's the problem I have. It's not trading for a receiver. It's who you traded for. Like, they had to do something. Their receiver group is atrocious, and now CeeDee Lamb's hurt, but I'm not sure Jonathan Mingo was the correct choice. Like Jake said, like, he's done
Not
next
for a
to nothing
fourth
this year.
rounder.
Should have traded for Cedric Wilson.
You can have Mason Tipton.
You had Cedric Wilson at one point.
I know. That's upset.
Mason Tipton does nothing for you.
Yeah.
But he's tearing it up training camp.
And I do want to get back to this hour.
Okay.
Jake has compiled the list of New Orleans Saints that the Saints allowed to walk out the door as they committed to other guys. And it's a list that reinforces that even when you did draft well, you never recommitted to the guys that you maybe should have, which also is a function of the cap management and kind of extending this window past when it should have been. But Taylor, who's your big NFL trade deadline winner?
Baltimore Ravens. They traded for Deontay Johnson. Now, that's something they did a few days ago. It was not a trade deadline selection, but, they had some deep threat weapons with Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. They didn't have that guy to complement Mark Andrews, kind of that across-the-middle guy. Deontay Johnson's been great at that his entire career, kind of out of the slot. I think that helps Lamar a lot in the short passing game. I really like that move.
I've never heard of Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, you have.
He went to Steelers to the Panthers. Receiver.
No.
Really?
Nothing. I'm not a big fantasy guy, though. And I find nowadays by Sunday,
I'm not either.
I know you're not, but you keep you keep up with the NFL very adept, and your sons do.
Yeah, Suns do for sure.
I find that Sunday I watch the Saints game, but that's kind of my day to get away from football a little bit. A lot of times now with my life, I feel like.
Yeah, it's not like college viewing for us is a little bit different, but we have a household that has 3 different NFL teams that get cheered for. Yeah, so it is like all 3 TVs are kind of like in different quad boxes.
As a kid, I don't know. I liked the NFL more growing up than college as well. It's easier to keep track
I did too.
of. Kind of,
But that flipped on its head for
everybody,
sure.
Yeah. Commanders. I mean, come on.
It's a big
7-2.
I was actually going to say outside
adding
of the
Marshon
Saints.
Lattimore.
I think Hopkins
going
to Kansas City might be my
going
biggest.
to Kansas City's big. If you watch what he did on Monday night,
it's not going to be to the level of this, but he actually tweeted out a picture of Randy Moss and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
It's got kind of that feel to it of, he wasn't bad. He just was playing with like Ryan Tannehill, Mason Rudolph, and Will Levis as his quarterback.
Well, let's see, right? Let's see with Hopkins because he was the best receiver in the NFL. When Mike Thomas was breaking records for most catches in the season, there was a big argument that DeAndre Hopkins was actually the best receiver in the NFL of the year. Unfortunately, Jake, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
How deep was Moss into his career when he
was
with
deep,
the
because
Patriots?
remember, he had failed with the Raiders.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. He had completely disappeared with the Raiders.
10 to 12 years in for sure, right?
Okay. Well,
so I mean, it was
Randy
when I
Moss
was
is
there.
pretty singular. D-Hop, see if you can do it as well. No excuse. You got Mahomes now.
You were talking about he wasn't bad. He just had bad QB play. Even in 2023, he had 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
In a Tennessee Titans offense.
Okay, that is crazy.
The fall off for DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, he had 2 years in Arizona, 512 yards, 717 yards.
Has he ever had a good quarterback?
His best quarterback, if you take away Patrick Mahomes, was
Watson.
the 2 flash seasons with Deshaun Watson.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, he had Tom Savage in Houston.
Tom Savage. That feels like an 80s actor.
It's a great name.
He kind of played football like an 80s actor.
Tom Savage.
He's had Kyler Murray for a few years,
Great mustache,
but that was
probably.
never great.
Yeah.
And then Tennessee.
Tom Savage sounds like one of the made-up names on King Griffey Jr. Slugfest on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, boy, I was going to completely different. I was thinking it sounded like an actor in maybe like Boogie Nights.
I was going to say a porn actor, an 80s porn actor with
Boogie Nights, yes.
with a big bush and a big mustache. I would agree. That's Tom Savage.
Tom Savage. All right. Randy Moss was in year 10 when he went to New England.
Okay. What year's Nuck in?
He is in...
Nuck if you buck?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Get your fingers out, Tay-Tay.
13.
He's 13 years in?
I'm sorry, 12. 12, because the Titans and the Chiefs in the same year. So, yeah, he's 12 years in. His first year was... His first season was the 2013 season.
So this is a long time ago now.
Wow. God, we're old.
I know.
Jesus.
Is there...
I also didn't realize he was in the NFL my last year there. I thought I was way older.
Yeah, 13 was his first.
Sidebar. Now that Saints fans are adrift with nary a competitive team to cheer for, are the LSU are we Commanders fans now? I mean, I love Jaden. Who doesn't love Jaden?
Doesn't,
He's
yeah.
awesome to watch. Commanders not particularly threatening to the New Orleans. There's been no bad history Like my biggest Saints Commanders memory is old boy ripping the ball out when they were 13-0 and Washington had the lead and they were the ball out. They go score. Robert Meacham.
Meach.
It seems like an easy team to cheer for, the Washington Commanders.
I mean, I'm going to cheer for my Bush League Bolts. Christian Fulton. He's
you're not one of the
LSU
Saints
guy.
fans. You're not one of the Saints fans who's adrift, though.
Well, his team also still has a chance.
But also, I do find myself every week watching the Commanders game in its totality. Like if I'm watching football and the Commanders are on, it's going to be on one of the screens.
And Taylor, your team also sucks.
They do, but I can't go Commanders because of the division rival thing. So,
wow, why do you hate Jaden Daniels, dude?
So
I don't. I hate Washington.
So it is funny that y'all mentioned that because yesterday we had the little election combine so parents could drop the kids off, go come back. It was great. We had 40 kids. It was nice. It was great. It was a lot of fun. We had like 2 full flag football games going on. We didn't have one argument.
Wow.
No kids argued the entire. It was great.
Sounds like you got to get a bunch of uncompetitive betas.
No.
If I had a football facility, I'd have these kids clawing and bleeding and scratching and biting
Our
each
guy
other.
Jetpack was there asking how competitive it was. But one of the things that stood out to me, if I would have done that 2 years ago, I would have seen nothing but Burrow jerseys.
Yeah.
You know what I saw? Multiple Jaden Daniels jerseys.
Are any Malik Neighbors jerseys in there?
No, but there's a lot. There was multiple Jaden Daniel jerseys.
I mean, I will say this. The Commanders' color scheme is awesome. I think the jerseys are cool, and Jaden Daniels is super cool right now. In fact, Washington has only turned the ball over 3 times in their first 9 games. This is crazy, y'all. That is the fewest by a team through 9 games since 1933, when turnovers were first tracked. So Jaden Daniels, as a rookie quarterback, the offense that he's leading, a team that has a 7-2 record, first time they're there in like 20-something years. He's only turned the ball over 3 times, which has never been done in NFL history before.
They're going to win that division, too.
And
no question about it.
That's insane.
Also taking chances downfield.
Yeah.
It's not like it's check down Charlie. Yeah.
No. God, he's good.
I
you,
hated
Matt
House. I was thinking the same thing.
Well, I hate it double because you got Jaden in Washington, and then the Giants have Malik Neighbors, and you're sitting there as a Cowboys fan, like, what are we doing, guys?
Matt House. You would have won a natty last year.
Dude, how about the Saquon leap over the weekend, too? Like, as if the Giants, they say don't kick a man while they're down. The Giants just must feel like they're being jumped into a gang, because every single week is further confirmation, as he does it for the Eagles, that the Giants royally screwed up that entire decision-making process, which is funny because that's what we're going to talk about next with the Saints. It's like, letting guys walk that you shouldn't have. But my God, letting Saquon go to your arch rival and then do things like this, what Taylor's showing you on the screen right now, a move that's never been done before.
The sideline shot of his teammates and the reaction, like I have never seen an NFL sideline react like that, because they've seen everything. They've been playing football forever.
Yeah.
Like even like a big hit, they'll get fired up. I have never seen teammates like have their jaws to the floor, putting their hands on their head, like they didn't know how to react because they had never seen something like that before.
The pure athletic ability, because that's just instinctual, right? Like when he pulls that move, it's because he can just, great athletes have that ability. It's like when a quarterback just knows a rush is coming from the blind side. They can't see it, but they can somehow feel it. He just felt all the different elements swirling around him, and his body just told him, hey, jump. And he did it. And it's amazing. And all of a sudden the Eagles are good. And now get up, still trying to like maintain that Sirianni's bad. One of my favorite questions that we see popping across the screen there is like, is Nick Sirianni actually the Eagles' weakness? I don't know what to make of the Eagles, right? I mean, like, they were awesome. They went through a long period of sucking, and now they appear to be awesome again. Shout out to the New Orleans Saints for helping to put them over a bit with their with that early season loss. I'm watching this sideline view that you're talking about right now.
Tay-Tay's pulling it up.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, you see, big
All right.
Jordan Davis just, my God.
There it is, yeah. Everyone's like, what? No.
Blankenship's just
No
like,
way.
no.
Reed
No way.
Blankenship's hands on his face is hilarious.
No way. Hey, guys, go to ITI Technical College, iticollege.edu, iticollege.edu. The number to call if you want to let them know that you came from off the bench, which is, great for us. Let them know that it's working, is 225-267-8003. But at the end of the day, all I really care about is you getting a better life. And that's all ITI cares about. And so even if you go to iticollege.edu and start your journey there, that's fine, okay? Just go explore. If you feel rudderless, you feel like you have jobs, you don't have a career, you want some long-term vision, some stability, that's all available right here in Baton Rouge. Two-year associate degree right there for you, man. And there's a few distinct advantages. First off, there's financial aid available to those who qualify, multiple different avenues to which you get it. They schedule for you, and it's a very flexible schedule. You can work full-time while going. They do get day and night class. You get Fridays off. They have a beautiful campus right there on the airline. They're faculty members, all with at least 4 years of real-world experience. So you're learning from people who have done the thing that you're seeking to do. And remember that Georgetown study that I always reference, where they looked at throughout the country at these schools and the return on investment that you get from them. And it was ranked top 10 in the nation. And it's right here in Baton Rouge, helping Louisianans get that better life. Go to iticollege.edu today. Taylor, what's the weather going to do on Saturday? Is it waiting till Sunday now?
Looks like it.
Okay, so
it's actually shifting a little bit.
As our resident off-the-bench meteorologist, are you willing to say that the weather will be a non-factor Saturday night in Death Valley?
No, because I still think it's going to rain. I don't think it's going to be
Will it be windy?
I mean, moderately, but I think rain's a big problem for LSU anyways because you haven't shown the ability to run the ball, and that's what Alabama wants to do.
So I will say this. I agree with you, but I granted, I think I've had some quarterbacks say the opposite. Like I think Murray says the opposite, but my old man always said he didn't mind when it was wet. It was only when it was windy that it became hard to pass. Wet, fine.
That's a good point because you watch that Monday night game with Baker and Mahomes. They didn't have a problem on Monday. And it was raining pretty hard.
Was it windy?
Didn't look windy.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. So that's definitely something to watch out for. Taylor, as our resident meteorologist, I expect you to, continue to get more locked in on the weather patterns as we move forward. All right. When we get back here on Off the Bench, let's do a little Tay-Tay NFL story of the day, and more. Keep it locked, OTB.
Off the Bench.
Go to Pinnacle Exterior Construction, PECbuilt.com, PECbuilt.com. Pinnacle Exterior Construction are your outdoor construction experts, and there's a ton of different projects, guys. You want to choose from one of the Pinnacle spec pools where, like we have these basic templates, and within the template, you choose like detail work and different options. So you're really making it your own, only it's affordable, it's quick, bam, 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 you got a pool. Maybe, things are going good. That's great. You want to get a completely custom pool. Go to PECbuilt.com and look at what they built and understand that really whatever you dream up, they can make happen. But that's not just with pools. It's with any outdoor living areas, outdoor kitchens, any size or type of fence, bulkheads, pergolas, all of it. PECbuilt.com.
Yeah, when you go to the homepage, you'll see exactly what they can do for you. And it's a great example, a little bit of kind of everything, including that artificial turf that they can install in your backyard space as well. PECbuilt.com.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Loomis for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Back to sports talk. Maybe. Off the bench.
Oh, man.
Hit.
Is this Evanescence? This is of
Yeah,
a
it
time.
is.
Oh, I got to share. I'm glad y'all brought up this. It just reminded me of like T-Bob going to the Atlanta Hawks games and his outfit that he would wear.
Yeah.
I have got a great new picture to share of T-Bob. I'll see if I can find it. It's amazing. It's amazing sometimes the stuff I get sent.
It's hard not to get hooked by the hook, you know?
Yeah,
As cheesy as it all is, cheese plays
it does.
for a reason. Tay-Tay, are you ready for a NFL story of the day?
I don't see why not.
Let's do it.
It's time for Tay-Tay's NFL Story of the Day. Your daily dose of NFL news from Taylor Sharp.
Bro, that looks like Bobby. Like me. Sorry. Jake just sent a picture that I've never seen before to the group text of me and my old man at a Northwestern State football game from, he looks great. That was when he was like 2% body fat, 8-pack after he retired. But this is when he got inducted in the Northwestern State Hall of Fame. Man, and I'm wearing a Southland, Northwestern State 1997 Southland champion shirt. What has happened to the Demons?
Oh, they hadn't won a game since Jesus was a boy.
I know, and look, there's a big crowd behind. God,
Oh, I know.
sucks.
Growing up, man, that was a big deal.
Damn.
That's a great picture.
That looks like my son. I look like my son. That's
Yeah.
freaking me out.
Yeah.
That's Quad Bob.
Say Quad Bob. Let's see if we can put that up.
Cannon does look good in that pic.
I mean, yeah,
I
right?
mean, again, when I tell
Wow.
you've never seen a man with such defined abs. He literally had 2% body fat at this time.
I'm
I think-
looking at his leg.
No,
You
that's
can
what I
barely-
mean.
yeah.
That's what I mean. Like you can see it everywhere on his body. Look
Yeah.
at the veins, everything. And we've always been known for big calves. Damn. All right, Taylor, hit me. Sorry, I got distracted.
Oh, no, you're good.
It's my fault.
You were talking about trades earlier, and one that was a little bit of a head scratcher was the Cincinnati Bengals signing Khalil Herbert from the Chicago Bears. Kind of buried on their depth chart. They gave up a decent amount to get him, but it actually makes a lot more sense this morning because Zach Taylor announced that running back Zach Moss, he's going to be out for the season with a neck injury. So he missed Sunday's game. He's going to be done the rest of the year. He said they don't believe it is career ending. More testing will be done. He will be out for the rest of the year.
Sucks.
And then little update on my favorite quarterback, Dak Prescott, as well. So we knew he was going to miss multiple weeks. Jerry Jones has came out and said that they actually expect him to go on IR due to that hamstring injury. So he's going to be out minimum of 4 weeks. That would put him back at week 14 against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. So two unfortunate injury news there, but the Bengals kind of shored up their running back room behind Chase Brown, getting Khalil Herbert.
What's going on with the Bengals? So I haven't paid much attention to the Bengals. I know Joe Burrow's the only quarterback in the NFL to have 2 5-touchdown games this year. In fact, I think the rest of the league only has 1.
They've kind of gotten back to their winning ways.
They're one game
they're
under
4-5.
500,
Yeah, they're 4-5. Gosh, their losses are all like painful losses, but they're still right there in the hunt with an opportunity. I'm trying to think who they had. I think it was outside of the Eagles game. Like all of their losses have been pretty heartbreaking and been close games. The Eagles actually routed them. I forget what the score was, but it was by multiple touchdowns. They beat the Raiders 41-24 last week. Now they've got a tough stretch. They're at Baltimore, at the Chargers, Steelers at home the next 3 games. So their season will be defined by how they do in those 3 games because then it eases up a little bit. Actually, a lot.
A lot.
You're at Cowboys, at Titans, Browns, Broncos, at Steelers. So, if you can win 2 of those 3 games that I mentioned to start off, Ravens, Chargers, Steelers, with the way the back end of your schedule is, they'll firmly get back in the playoff conversation.
Dude, what? How are the Steelers just? I mean,
Because it's a properly ran organization.
all they do is just win football games.
Yep.
Can Mike Tomlin can Mike Tomlin get in the Hall of Fame just through regular season consistency?
Well, he's won a Super Bowl, so
No, he has a Super Bowl, obviously,
Yeah.
right? He's hit that metric.
So he's in.
But 1 Super Bowl is not enough to get a coach in the Hall of Fame.
He'll get in because of, I'm saying both.
Because
everything.
he's also just never
the
had a
amalgamation
losing season.
of both.
Yeah, no matter what. I mean, you give him Duck Hodges and he still goes 500.
Duck Hodges.
Like, it's Dayton Laney Wilson, right?
Yes, he is.
Shout out, Duck.
Oh, Duck's winning.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
All right, Duck. Say
Duck
Duck.
knows how to get
How to
lucky. I just, man, like it is absurd how good Mike Tomlin is at being not
is.
bad.
Well, and then we talked
Yeah.
about it in
But
the
it keeps you
offseason.
engaged. Like think about like
Yeah.
if you've been a Steelers fan, like
You're never out of it.
if you're someone like even my age, you've never really been out of it. I'm almost 40.
Which is funny, though. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying I'm almost 40 and like the Steelers have like I remember in the 90s, like they go to the Super Bowl. I remember them
The
beating
bus.
I remember them beating who'd they beat to go? Jim Harbaugh, Captain Comeback when he was with the Colts, right? They go to the Super Bowl. Like they were relevant in the early 2000s. The bus is there. They're winning Super Bowls. They're playing for Super Bowls. And like just our entire lifetime, y'all, they've been good. Maybe not always great, but they've at least been good.
And what's funny, though, is as much as we're appreciating this in the outside looking in, I do know a few Steelers fans, and they always trash Tomlin. It's
Well.
that classic, be careful what you wish for. Oh, you're sick of always being relevant? Well, make a move and see what happens,
Yeah.
Come join the rest of us down here in the suck.
Well, we talked
You
about
better
it in
hope you get it right.
We talked about it in the offseason because, Tama was criticized for his choices of offensive coordinators recently. And we're like, you hired Arthur Smith, who was so bad. Like, he went out on a limb doing that. Their offense has gotten better every single week. I mean,
Arthur.
then you make the quarterback change back to Russell Wilson, which people questioned. You haven't missed a beat. Again, your offense has probably been better. You scored 32 and 37 and 26 your last 3 weeks, and that was a team that was not projected to have a good offense. And then on the flip side of things, you've only given up 20 points in a game twice this year. You give up exactly 20 to the Cowboys, 27 to the Colts. Everything else has been less than that. They're a complete football team right now.
My God, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are inevitable.
Speaking of coordinators, I don't think we talked about it on here yet, but that picture of Aaron Glenn in the rain holding up the play calling.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen it, Taylor?
Does he look like super manly or something? He looks like badass.
He just looks so locked in.
It's so
funny.
super jacked. Is he still jacked? I feel like.
Let me try to find it, and I'll put it in the doc so Tay can pull it up. It's so funny. The memes that are coming out of this, hilarious.
Oh, look at my guy.
Locked
dude.
in.
Get that man some of those, was it Wayne's World where they had the windshield wipers?
Yep.
On the glasses. He definitely needs it.
If y'all could...
The election memes are out of control right now.
Yeah,
too.
they are. If y'all could choose anybody, right, that's realistic to be the next New Orleans Saints head coach. Because, I'd love for it to be Dan Campbell. He ain't going nowhere. Who would you choose? Just first, off the top, I don't want you to even think about it, research it. Who would you choose?
I mean, Aaron Glenn's really hard to get away from. Like everybody else, Ben Johnson is super appealing.
I think Ben Johnson would probably be my answer.
Yeah, but I think that's like everybody's kind of number one, I feel like, right now for the offseason. Everybody who wants a coach is going to want Ben Johnson.
Yeah, but you got to see, okay, whose job's going to be available right now, okay? You look at the East, okay, New York's going to be open. Do you really – I'm talking about the AFC East. Do you really want to go to the Jets? You look at the AFC North. Maybe Cincinnati. Maybe Cincinnati could become open. Now, that would become – Ben Johnson
would be very appealing for Ben
Johnson would run to Cincinnati to take that job. So you have to look at what's open and what's available, how appealing would New Orleans be. But, yeah, Ben Johnson would be, I think, number one. His play design and his ability to get everybody in the offense involved in the game plan is at the highest elitist level that you'll find in the NFL.
How do we feel about Vrabes? Because that would be my third one.
I like Mike Vrabel. I brought him up the other day.
You'd be so much grittier than you were ever with passive-ass Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
I promise you that. I would know one thing about that. You would be tougher. You'd be a tougher football team.
It's true.
He at least has made the playoffs as well. You can fall back on something. Aaron Glenn, yes, but do you really want to go back-to-back Aggies?
That's what I was going to say. I think we need to be done with the Aggies.
I don't care if they're successful. I'm not going back-to-back Aggies.
Yeah, look,
What about Dan Campbell, though? You would take Dan Campbell? You would take Dan Campbell?
I love Dan Campbell.
I don't know. I think you run the risk. You go back-to-back Aggies.
Yeah.
Let's just, instead of shying away from it, let's double down and let's hire Billy Lucci.
Hey,
as the Saints' next head coach.
We'd be on the sideline every game.
That'd be fun.
I don't know if they'd be gritty.
All right,
but
I'm gonna. Luch got some grit to him. I'm gonna throw.
Luch is a pretty boy, dude.
Yeah,
you got a little bit. You got a little bit of grit to him.
I'll tell Luch right now. Luch is a man of the finer things in life, 1,000%.
He took you to buy your first pair of jeans.
Yeah, he straight up took me shopping.
True. I'm going to throw a name out there that I don't think anybody in this room will probably agree with, but I think he is ready for his opportunity if the Saints decide not to go proven head coach.
Prime.
Todd Monken.
It would not be exciting, but
but he's done great things in Baltimore.
He's done great everywhere he's been.
Yeah,
but he's taking that
Georgia
Baltimore
OC,
offense,
even as a
still missing him.
Miss head coach, or wherever he's been,
Former LSU receivers coach.
He was here when I was here.
Yeah, I remember being recruited by him.
We can actually maybe get him on the show if he was the Saints head coach.
Nah, let's not get crazy.
I think we could actually. Hey, coach, remember the time you MF'd me because I didn't run that corner route just the way that you thought, and I was a fullback, but I was out there at receiver. Remember that? Yeah, you come on the show.
You owe me one, right?
It was actually he was an elite cusser.
Really?
Todd Monken was.
I love that.
Yeah, he was. I actually love Todd Monken.
I prefer broad Buddhist men. No, because that's a monk. What would the opposite of a monk be? Or like a monk pair?
So while you're thinking about it, yeah, Monk was here 05-06 LSU. He goes to Jacksonville. He's a receivers coach for 4 years. He goes to Oklahoma State where he's the OC. Then he goes to Southern Miss where he's the head coach. And then he goes to Tampa Bay where he's the OC. He goes to Cleveland as the OC, Georgia as the OC, and Baltimore as the OC.
Coming up next, morning. Ooh, got to be quicker than Bench. Go to.
Pulled a fast one on me.
Yeah, I know. What can I say, dude? All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge. AllStarToyotaBatonRouge.com is the website where you can go check out the deals. You can order straight from the website if you want. Look at everything they got going on. A ton of great resources there on the site. But what I think separates All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge specifically are the people. The atmosphere around that place is great, man. A family atmosphere. And it means that you end up with the best customer service. You have a sales team that is ready to help you in every way they can to find you and your family the answers for your next car, whether it's new, used, whatever. And then, I mean, you got like the service center and the body shop, which I talk about. That's open to some models. So doesn't have to be from All-Star, doesn't have to be a Toyota even. You go in, you take advantage of the free estimates, factory parts right there inside, rental cars available, shuttle service. It's all there. All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge.
It is all there. It's all there on the website. Buying new, leasing, renting, everything is available. Get your Toyota today and do it at allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Loomis for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
quickly will this segment leave the rails? It's Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Probably pretty quickly. What happened to Kings of Leon? I mean, they were great, and they were the biggest thing.
They were
what
big.
was that, 2010?
I would say the 2010s. Yeah.
I mean, and just
even a little after that. I remember my high school
Sex on
graduation.
Fire.
They had a Kings of Leon thing.
And we were talking about it during the break. You don't even see them in Biloxi now. So it's not like they just became, not popular, and now they're just trying to hang on. They're just gone, done. I mean, T-Bob, you had a pretty good thought. Maybe they're just rich as hell, and they're like, we're good.
Yeah, might just be chilling. Also, the creative muse can be a hell of a thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes it's just pouring out of you. You cannot contain it, and other times you can't find it with a search warrant. Oh my God, Big Cat just tweeted out a picture of his kidney stone that he just passed.
Ew.
It's not on here now. I scrolled away from it because it was grossing me out.
Man, this song's a banger.
It's a deep cut. It's on the album, not released. Yeah. Sometimes you can just be happy. You had your run of fame.
Yeah.
You got your money.
You don't need
you're
any
gonna
more.
live the life.
Yeah.
Maybe you write music for others. I don't know. Good for you.
She can make a lot of money doing
T-Bob
that,
and I are
too.
going to continue to do 2 shows a day.
Just trying to get paid on the second show. We'll see.
That's true.
The road goes ever on, guys. The road goes ever on.
We're being told in the chat that they just released an album.
Okay.
I missed this.
I did too.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. I will give it a listen.
I will too.
I'm excited to give it a listen.
Quinn Kaufman says album wasn't great, unfortunately.
Oh. I'll still listen
I still
because
listen.
people have different.
Yeah, music's different for everybody. That's why I don't judge people for music they listen to. And maybe my ear hears it different.
I've always wondered about that. I know scientifically we know that's not true, but I have no real way of knowing at the end of the day that the same things you see is what I see, right? This is okay. This main event ball is blue and black to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, it's blue and black to you too, right?
It's teal and black.
Teal and black, sure, whatever.
Yeah, Carolina Panthers.
It is, isn't it? But the point of that is so yes, we both recognize teal as teal because to our eyes, teal has always been teal. But what if my teal looks completely different than yours?
Yeah.
What if yours looks red? And if I were to see it through your eyes, I have no idea. Again, I know that is a bit of a stonery, not very accurate thought because scientifically we know how colors are decided and how that stuff works, but it still is kind of interesting to think about.
Dennis Allen probably thinks that's red.
I would not be surprised. And Mickey Loomis would say, well, it was red until the ball got deflated. Then, it's kind of out of control. The ball changed colors. Yeah.
I always heard you can't create a new color. If I asked you to hey, create a color that doesn't exist, you can't do it.
What do you mean?
Try right now. What would
That's
the color
not what
be?
Central Plumbing said last time they went to T-Bob's house. They're like, I've never seen this.
That is awful. It's truly, truly despicable.
What cracks me up is where T-Bob draws the line sometimes on stuff. He says the most out-of-pocket stuff.
Not true.
But
Not
then
true.
we'll
Not
draw the
true.
line. I
Oh,
said
no.
butt juice and he freaked out.
Ugh.
See?
No, I don't like that either.
Yes, but you don't say
You freaky
wild
girl.
stuff like
Yeah.
T-Bob
I
does.
don't.
T-Bob does say some
One
wild
funny
stuff.
thing about me is I don't love public talk of toilet stuff. I realized.
That's
Sex
where you
stuff,
draw the line?
Yes.
Which
but
is
toilet
funny.
stuff I don't.
Well,
Because-
toilet stuff is way grosser.
hold up.
I get it.
Hold up. Yes, correct. But
I
also
don't.
coming from a man who will have full-blown conversations with all three of us
Yeah.
from the bathroom
It's not true.
through
That's
the door.
not true. Never a full-blown
You've yelled at
conversation.
us.
I yell sometimes.
Well-
I hate talking
there's,
to people
there's
on the toilet.
We've
Hate it.
There's been some
Hate
conversations
it.
through
there's
the
been
door.
people
Not
that we've
true.
met for the first time. You've talked through that door, sir.
Not true. No, not with anyone I met the first time. I'm not going to sit here and take this sitting
Yes.
down. These
Just
are
shouting from the toilet seat.
slanderous lies.
You're gonna
In the
take it standing
handicap
up?
stall, we might add.
Yeah. Taking up a handicap stall. Yeah, say something.
Who else
yeah,
is
say,
using it?
No, it's
Who else is
to T-Bob's
using it?
credit. We don't have any anybody here who's handicapped, I don't believe. So I think it's pretty much vacant.
I know, but
Everybody's able-bodied.
Yeah.
If somebody who was not were to roll up in here, I would cede the bathroom to them. Obviously. The road goes ever on. Look, here's so the election happened last night, obviously. I don't think it was really surprising what happened anyway. I think it's pretty simple, kind of like we talked about, right? If you're unhappy with how your last 4 years have gone, you're generally going to vote the other way. And as much as, everybody wants to sit here and talk about all these things that the right-wing and left-wing press kind of put in front of our face, the sensationalized social topics and everything else, at the end of the day, it just comes down to your quality of life and are you happy with it or not. And the last 4 years, it feels like a majority of people saying that they are not happy. And so now you have what you have. I guess what I hate is just I hate when you sit here and you have people just saying like, oh, they voted that way because they're uneducated, or they voted that way because they're racist, or they're this, or they're that, or they're, they don't have a college degree. It's like, that's the same crap I'm talking about with Mickey Loomis. If you can't admit what actually went wrong, then you're never going to fix the problem that the democracy is clearly telling you that you have. Now, for the Republicans, I'll say this. You got everything. You got the House, you got the Senate, you got the presidency, you got the Supreme Court. Make it better. If the average boots on the ground life does not get better, what's the excuse? The same thing I said to Jeff Landry.
Yeah.
And I ain't seen nothing from Louisiana yet. All he continues to lean into is sensationalized BS topics like working on getting a second tiger to put in the cage. Hey, shut up, Jeff. How about you get some new business in here? How about you attract a big tech company or something? How about you stop the brain drain? So, again, same type deal. I'm holding the same standard. You have all the control. Go make it better. That's why people voted, because they were unhappy with where they sat today, and they want somebody to change it. Now, I'm not someone who believes that a single president or anybody can really do that. I think the market forces, that's why I'm so apathetic. I think all the greater forces at play are kind of greater than any of it. But if you are someone who believes, you now have the opportunity to do so.
I do know, if we're bringing it back to sports through politics, Ross Dellinger put it out there, with where the Republicans currently sit, you will see things as far as legislation for college football happen faster. He had a whole article. It's actually a fascinating read on if there's ever going to be something federal put into college athletics to try to maybe put some guardrails and rules in place, that he said it was going to be with the Republicans in full control.
Yeah, I guess, but we also had Justice Kavanaugh as being the one who really struck down the NCAA from the very beginning.
Right, I know, but I'm just saying,
Conservative
Ross
justice.
is much smarter than I am, lives in D.C., and it's actually a fascinating article on if you want to talk about politics and sports coming together in college football.
The dumb part about that is they have Nick Saban up there arguing about restoring competitive balance. And that I find to be almost offensive in its absurdity. We have never had better competitive balance. What are we talking about? You want to go back to what? Just to Alabama being far and away the best team every single year? Restore competitive balance. What the hell are you talking about? This is the most parity we've had ever in college football. It's been one of the best years ever for that reason. Get the hell out of here with that restore competitive balance gaslighting BS, dude. But look, my big hope, peaceful transition of power. If your guy didn't win, that sucks. Lick your wounds, move on, and let's just hope that the boots on the ground life gets better and that people's rights who feel threatened don't end up being threatened. But we'll see.
All I know is history shows that LSU is going to win on Saturday.
Well,
no, it does. Every year that ends in a 4.
No, oh yeah, that's true. The 4-1, yes, but the only exception to the Democrat-Republican thing is 2016 when Trump won and Bama won.
Well, you said the
Well,
it was last 10 elections,
stolen.
right?
The Russians interfered in it.
Right?
So that's why.
You said the last 10 elections?
I believe so.
So if it's 9-1 in favor of
LSU. It is 9-1.
Now,
it is 9-1.
But with Trump winning again, that does throw a wrench into things because
it was
like,
Trump that won last time.
So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you're onto something.
I don't love it. Here's to hoping that here's to hoping that LSU can win on Saturday because I'm going to be freaking pumped, dude. I cannot wait for this game. We're about to go into full psycho mode. May have to bring T. Diddy out of prison for Saturday night because I'm feeling a freak off brewing in my balls, y'all. And I only got these things for a few more weeks, so I got to lean into these feelings while I still got them.
It's true.
Before Derek Carr forces me to hire Tim Tebow to castrate myself live on air.
You know what? I'm going to give you an out of this. If you just apologize to us for making us have to listen to you try to convince us that Derek Carr was going to be a top 12 quarterback all offseason, I will let you out of this.
I'll take that. I will take that, and I will take an apology for all the Kirk Cousins things that you, Danny, and Mario said to me 2 years ago, acting like I didn't know ball. I'll take that and what she said, and you can keep your nuts.
T-Bob,
you
can apologize for the Kirk Cousins thing. You don't have to apologize for Derek Carr. I looked it up yesterday. He's top 12 in terms of least amount of interceptions thrown this year with only 4. So there you go.
That's not what he was telling
top
us
12
all
quarterback.
season.
Look, I'll say this.
Carfax.
Okay. I apologize for absolutely nothing. Okay? Get the hell out of here, nerds. It's not my fault. Injuries, guys. Me and Mickey Loomis, we tried to tell you it was a good plan. Derek Carr should have been a top 12 quarterback. Injuries upset the apple cart. Not my fault. Not Derek's fault. Not Mickey's fault. Not the Democrats' fault. It's those damn uneducated Nazis that done did it. Now they're trying to cut my balls off, and I'm out here on an island. Close out the show next.
Off the bench.
Go to trashrangers.com, trashrangers.com. Your answer for all of your trash removal needs here in South Louisiana. If you're in Livingston or Essential, guess what? You get to choose who does your trash residentially. You get to choose Trash Rangers. You get a better service. More efficient, give a damn, and Trash Rangers, they're members of the community, right? So they ain't keeping the trash here and taking the profits out of state. No, those profits go back to your churches, community teams, back to your community. And if you're a business owner, you need front load dumpsters emptied anywhere from 1 to 6 days a week. You need roll off dumpsters for big project. TrashRangers.com. TrashRangers.com.
Yeah, on the website, you can pay your bill. You can set up that residential service, commercial service, roll-off dumpsters, right? But we always encourage you, give them a call. Tell them what you've got going on at your home or business. That number, 225-363-9053. Tell them what you've got going on. They'll get the right-size dumpster out to you. Find that at TrashRangers.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana.
Welcome in to the best morning sports-ish show around. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to K to Z window coverage, y'all. KTOZblinds.com. Why K to Z? Because reviews are top notch. Give you a ton of information. You'll know way more about window treatments than you did when Brandon walked in. The process, the home tour, the expertise. We can work with any budget at K to Z. So I don't know if you have a starter home you want to shoot for the moon, do it. Ray Fry said that was the best investment I've ever made. And remember, installation is complimentary. So bring your home to the next level with K to Z window coverage, KTOZblinds.com. And right now, it's time for a little Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Light, Vizzy Art Seltzer, and Blue Moon Light Sky Citrus Sweet. Got my hands, ain't my name. 15 cars. There's your neighbor, Alondra.
That is your neighbor.
Literally. What did y'all ask me the other day? I was like, we went to, and you're like in their Range Rover. I'm like, no. I don't talk to these people.
Oh, this is a good song.
This is a great Ask the Bench segment.
I love Nickelback.
We don't have a question. I don't know what to do.
Ask the Bench. Which OTB crew member would be president?
Jake. He's got the best.
Jake is certainly the most.
Jake would be the one
too.
that he's very electable. Thanks to the past, All American.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything.
Gritty.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be, on my staff. I need the team. I'm a team
I
guy.
would join your
what
staff.
spots do you want?
Hell yeah! I want to be like a shady campaign manager doing drugs and prostitutes. And
I don't even care. I'll do
Hunter
it for
Biden?
free. I want to be the Secretary of Defense in control of the military. That's what I want so bad.
Oh my God.
Like, I want to be Secretary of
Give
Defense
it to
more than
someone
anything.
that wants it that
too much
bad.
power.
I want to be Secretary of Defense so
we'll
bad.
see you tomorrow.
Off the Bench.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
I've been doing business with Loomis for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team.